Hello. Wooha. How is everyone doing? Sorry, I apologise for my tardiness this weekend. It's been very poor. It's been very poor, but with a 1-month-old, nothing is ever on time anymore, unfortunately. But I hope everyone's doing well. Less than half an hour until, no doubt, what is going to be an unbelievable race. The track is slightly drying by the sounds of it. Or I say drying, it will do obviously when the cars get out on circuit, but it supposedly is it's kind of as clear as it's been for most of this weekend. So other than the sprint race on Saturday morning. So let's just get set up. We'll have a quick look at the wet tyres that are available today, guys. There is more rain that is suspected. So I do expect these wet tyres, of course, to be used, of course. So we'll have a look at those and then we'll get everything set up, of course, for you all. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Lewis 16 to P1 delusional. But yeah, welcome everyone. GI, Manly, Gavin, Daisy, good to see you. TC, the usual suspects. Aaron, good to see you, mate. First I've ever seen Lewis Hamilton that fed up and almost negative from the jump. Defo over his time at Merckx, I think. Yeah, I mean, you could tell. I mean, he thankfully was able to get his run in the McLaren, in the Senna's McLaren, which he absolutely loved. I think that's pretty much the only thing he's been looking forward to all weekend, to be honest. The car is just not... He's over it, isn't he? He's absolutely over it. So don't blame him, really. Don't blame him whatsoever. But will we see some stellar Juvetex today? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think so. I think the grip is there. So if you're just tuning in, guys, and you're not aware of what happened with qualifying, I mean, where have you been? What a qualifying it was. But we, of course, had crashes to Colapinto, Albon, Sainz, Alonso, and Lance Stroll. And, well, unfortunately, the breaking news is that Albon, expectedly, really, actually, with his big crash into T1, the biggest crash out of the 5. He is not starting this race, unfortunately. He has been withdrawn. Too little of time for them to fix that car, understandably. Colapinto's car is starting. Sainz is starting from the pit lane. And I'm not sure about Alonso and Stroll yet. I think they are starting from the pit lane as well, maybe. So, yeah. Hey Brad, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. So, all the best to every driver, since this race could be unpredictable. It's going to be a very unpredictable one. Yes, so let's quickly, before we have a look at the data, let's and get that all set up. Let's have a look at the tyre allocations for today with the wet weather. Because it's going to be important, of course, and I think it's going to be wet throughout. So, this is the tyre allocations for today, guys. Wet weather. So, as you can see, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez have 3 brand new sets of intermediates available to them by not making it out of Q2. Of course, Max is still starting in 17th place today with that 5-place grid penalty for a brand new internal combustion engine. So, we'll see how much performance advantage that gives him. George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Piastri, Norris, of course, they all made it through to Q3, which is why they have no brand new sets of intermediates available. Interestingly, only Russell, Hamilton, and Leclerc have a brand new set of wets available. Will it get wet enough for wets to be used? We will see. Of course, Albon isn't starting. Behrman, Hulkenberg, and Zhou didn't make it out of Q1, so they have all the intermediates available to use because we didn't see the intermediates used in Q1, same as Colapinto. And yeah, I think, I don't know, with maybe, I think they've got enough of set of intermediates there, really, for Leclerc, Piastri, Russell, and Norris to really get through today. So it should be fine. Rain, stay away, or it's raining or it's pouring. Well, it's dry at the moment, as in it's not raining. But there is rain predicted around 10 laps into this race. It is a 71-lap race. This race is normally a 2-stop race. That could be the case here again. Who knows? But it's definitely going to be an intermittent type race today. I think we're going to see it get wetter. Not like it's basically going to stay wet throughout the whole time, but it depends on how wet it gets. And of course, if anyone's seen qualifying with this brand new track surface, it's very, very tricky out there. So not surprised Stroll binned it, but it ruined Max's chances. I'm not liking this. Yeah, it did ruin Max's chances. And look, There was a slight delay, of course, in the red flag being thrown, but the primary reason for that is because Stroll was the only driver out of the five that crashed that was able to get his car moving again still. So I don't think anyone really realised that his rear spoiler was hanging off. They wanted to give him an opportunity to get moving. Also, as we ran through at the end of qualifying, the theory that Max would have still got a lap time in is incorrect. I believe we had a look at it. It was literally 3 to 4 seconds when Stroll crashed, between the time Stroll crashed to Charles Leclerc pushing Max out of down into 11th, into the drop zone. And then what happened from then on, they're stating if the red flag was thrown sooner, they would have had enough time to do an outlap. I'm not so sure. It was already at 1 minute 33 remaining by the time Leclerc had crossed the line. So there's always a slight delay, even if you're adding 7 seconds, 10 seconds onto that, and then the red flag gets thrown once they know Stroll can't continue. The lap time anyway is 1 minute 24, 25 to get round and set a lap. So the out lap is always slower because they're on colder tyres as well and they're trying to heat them up. So they could have done an out lap. I disagree, Manji. I don't think they could have done an out lap. No, I don't think they could have done. I really don't. So, where will Lewis start? 16th, I think. So, let me set up the data. That should be ready to get rock and roll. And, yeah, we should be able to see where where everyone's lining up, the actual grid for today. So, let's just head back here. Ooh, a V car performing better than RB is just too crazy. Well, but yeah, I mean, credit to Yuki. Yuki was looking really good, wasn't he? Really good. Esteban Ocon looked good in these conditions as well. It's going to be tough out there today. It's going to be tough. Right, so race control messages. We want that, of course. Race control messages. We want the continue to standings. Setting up, guys, for you all. And then we're ready to rock and roll, guys. Ready to rock and roll, I think. All right. Here we go. It is still wet. Yes, it is still a wet circuit, guys. It is Red Bull's fault for sending the cars out at the wrong time. I agree. Yeah, I think primarily they need to look at themselves. McLaren did the right thing. They sent Lando out and Piastri out early. Lando was able to get 2 laps in before that red flag came out, and that was basically the crux of it. Max wasn't able to. Neither was Sergio Perez. So that's the risk you run in those conditions. And Perez had a go at the mechanic, had a go at Red Bull over the radio as well, rightfully so. So yeah. All right, let's bring this up here. Where do we want to put this? Let's put this over here because I think really you want that there where it says rain. Yes or no? That's primarily what we want to see. So let me move that. See if we can put that there, and then that goes there. Bosh! There we go. Ready to rock and roll, guys. Ready to rock and roll. If the track is wet, Max has a chance to top 5. Well, this is it. So Max is starting P17, even with Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz not gridding up, because they didn't announce they were trying to get their cars to the starting grid. They basically, you have an hour. If you withdraw from the race, or you say you're going to start from the pit lane an hour before the race, then everyone can move up a position. But they didn't do that, so that is why the grid positions are as they are. So, yes, Max is starting in 17th. Pole at the moment. Where will Max Verstappen finish? 43% think he's going to finish in a 6th place to 10th place, so he's going to finish in the points. 38% think top 5. 11% think outside the points he's going to finish, and 8% think DNF. It's going to be interesting because he's starting in a carbon fibre zone, and even though he might have a pacey car compared to the rest of the field, it's not going to be easy to overtake out there today. They should have known if he risked sticking that rear out, Diddley might already cut. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lewis Alonso should have done better than they have, more experience in rain conditions. I agree, especially Lewis, but he has no confidence in that car. Is Alonso starting? Yes, he is. It looks like Alonso and Stroll, surprisingly, are able to start from the grid. So I'm a bit surprised about that, especially Alonso. They've done great work to swap out the parts on his car. So Max DNF will spice it up even more. Well, yes, we did kind of calculate that if Lando is to win this race, so that's 25 points, and risk of rain. There you go, guys. Risk of rain for this race is 100%, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. It's going to be very, very interesting. As we said, it's predicted quite early on, around 10 laps into this race. We do have a 2-hour time limit to finish this race, of course, but that's not including red flags. If the red flag comes out, then I believe the 2-hour time limit is paused, but it's 2 hours of racing. There was definitely something up with Lewis's car compared to Russell. It looked like he was driving in an ice rink compared to... Yeah, he just has no confidence in it. I don't know what's up with that Mercedes, to be honest with you. I mean, Lewis, I think he's past the point of caring. I think he's just looking forward to finishing this season and moving on to next year. Pastures new. I think Max will send it to Apex on turn 2 against Lewis. Lewis gets Apex first, Max DNF and penalty. Well, this is the problem. I mean, you have to plot your way around here. It's going to be a lot trickier, of course, because the racing line isn't necessarily going to be the quickest line. Obviously, not that there's really much rubber laid down on the circuit at the moment, but you saw in qualifying how the different lines, drivers trying to find the grip, and that's going to be the case today as well, especially if the rain starts to come down harder. I am expecting red flags today, guys. I think this is going to be a long race, so knuckle down. I could be calling on the missus for a couple of cups of coffee at some point throughout this race, I think, because from what we saw in qualifying, with, of course, the added element of limited visibility as well. 19 F1 cars in close proximity. Of course, Alex Albon isn't starting. That's really going to spice things up. Only Alex Albon isn't starting. Lewis Hamilton's car was literally sliding around the last few corners, Aaron. The dreaded no rear end as per last race. Yeah. Hey, Lou, good to see you, mates. Who's starting from the pit lane? Only Carlos Sainz. Only Carlos Sainz, yes. Yuki Tsunoda is starting on the second row, P3. His highest race start in F1. Liam Lawson close behind as well in P5. Very, very good result for the two RB cars. Out qualifying a Ferrari in the form of Charles Leclerc, and out qualifying Oscar Piastri as well in the McLaren. So yeah, very, very good qualifying from them. George Russell sneakily got onto P2, so it was nearly a front row start for Yuki, but yeah, George putting in the lap time there at the end, so don't rule out George either. Of course, a former winner here a few years ago, 2022. 2 hours of racing, that means you won't be able to watch Man United with your full attention. You're better off watching this than watching Man United. I thought Alex would get Franco's car for the race. That's what people were saying. I don't think they'd be able to get out of Brazil if Williams did that, to be honest with you. They refused to change Lewis's setup for a pit lane start, but whatever. Yeah, I know. I don't even think changing setup will really do much to improve Lewis Hamilton's chances, to be honest with you. So, according to your calculation, if Lando wins 2 more races, wins the sprint race in Qatar, and gets P3 with outpoint Verstappen. I mean, look, there's loads of permutations, but let's just say Max doesn't score points today. I reckon he still will score points. I think he'll be in the lower end. I think he'll be outside the top 6, to be honest with you. If he scores the points, if he scores no points and Lando wins 25, he has 19 points gap with 3 race weekends remaining. That's an average of, what did we say? It was an average of just over 6.33 points that he needs in the remaining 3 races to, with one of those being the sprint race weekend, over Max. And that basically then leaves Lando in control. It's in his own destiny, because if that happens today, then he has to just win every single race, because there's a 7-point gap difference advantage from first place to second place. So, but that's obviously all ifs and buts. Who knows what's going to happen today? Max could still win this. We've seen stranger things in F1. It's been a very strange weekend thus far, but Lando Norris ultimately has got the job done when it's needed to. Of course, he didn't qualify on pole yesterday. Yes, a little bit of help from his teammate, understandably, but at this stage of the season, a team like McLaren would be silly not to, rather than just allowing that sprint race win to Oscar Piastri, especially when one of them is mathematically still within a chance, a very reasonable chance of winning this World Drivers' Championship. And look how the weekend has panned out now. So, right decision by them yesterday. And yeah, Lando, of course, just needs to get out there first, into the first corner, get a good launch, and then he can control this race because he'll be the one with clean air and, of course, a nice clear visor in front of him without all that spray behind. So, thoughts on Lewis sabotage rumours? I don't think there's really been any sabotage. I just think Mercedes are rubbish, to be honest with you. I think we'll see a Tier 1 incident and Sainz will fortunately avoid it. Yeah, typical. Sainz, Ferrari are doing the iRacing move. You start from the pit lane, you join the circuit at turn 3, and you miss all the carnage through turn 1 and 2 and turn 3. Honestly, iRacing, that's the way to do it. And you end up starting last, and you make up 5-6 positions in the first couple of corners. How much time to start to the race? Yes, I'll have a look. I've normally got this on for you, but it's basically 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let me alter this for you so that you guys can. Obviously, it's a popular question of when does this race start? On the half-hour mark, basically, guys. Hang on, I'm just doing this for you. Race starts. What is it? 3:30, isn't it? 3:30 it starts. 3:30. There we go. So we avoid that question for being asked all the time. There you go. Right in the middle of your screen. That's when the race starts, guys. Hey Stefano, good to see you, mate. It's not sabotage per se, but they're experimenting with setups. Yeah, I mean, look, it was always going to happen at some point where Lewis Hamilton was kind of moved aside and priority was going to go to George. Unless Lewis was in the chance of a world championship, which obviously he isn't. That was always going to happen at some point. So I think he's just kind of accepted that now. The track still rain. Yeah, so it's wet. It's not as wet as it was earlier on, but it is going to rain. We have a 100% chance of rain, and that in the race notifications at the top right-hand corner of your screen there. Yes, 100% chance of rain, but it's not raining at the moment. You will get an indication here at the top if it is raining, which it is predicted to do. Did I watch Lewis in Senna's car? It was emotional. Yes, yeah, it was. That car sounds beautiful as well. V12. Mwah. Lovely. Thank you for the sub, much appreciated. Do I think Merc haven't seen bottom yet because Lewis leaving will affect their money? I don't know. I mean, it's going to affect them financially, definitely. I mean, it's very, very difficult to replace a person like Lewis Hamilton with obviously the pull, the fan base that he has, and the sponsorship pull that he has as well. But Mercedes is still a very reputable company, and they're a very well-known brand. So yeah, it'll hurt them, but they'll be all right. I'm sure. I'm sure. So grid start. The grid start is as it is on your screen right now. Alex Albon will dive to the bottom of your screens though, because he is not starting this race. So he will end up obviously showing as retired. Sainz is starting from the pit lane, and that is it. So Colapinto is able to grid up. There is no movement in regards to drivers moving up or down the grid, other than Carlos Sainz, who actually, where was he supposed to start? Carlos Sainz was supposed to start. Where was Carlos Sainz supposed to start? 15th? So Lewis Hamilton's moved up a place. So, bring back the old cars every driver would approve. Yeah, they were great sounding. I highly recommend, even in the rain, it was great to see. So, time to put the kettle on. How soon do you think we're going to get a safety car, guys? How soon? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Nearly 1,000 votes. And where does Max Verstappen finish? Oh wow, it's neck and neck between top 5 and 6 to 10. So people confident he's definitely going to score points today. It's just kind of how many, isn't it? Oh. Lap 1 safety car wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Do I think the Brit media is biased? So I think they're biased to an extent, yes, but I think every media is biased. The Dutch media is extremely biased in favour of Max Verstappen, just as are the Italian media for anyone who drives for Ferrari. And no doubt will be extremely biased towards Kimi Antonelli next season. So they are. I do think they are probably the most impartial because they are the world feed for F1, Sky. But yes, I mean, everyone's biased to an extent. You can't completely rule out some level of bias, but this complaint about British bias and so forth and decisions going in a certain way due to biasness, I think it's just got boring now, and I think it's just a lame excuse for people not accepting criticism being labelled to their favourite driver. So everyone is entitled to criticism. Doesn't matter which driver they are. Everyone's human. No one is perfect. So I've criticised Lewis Hamilton plenty of times, but some drivers do get more criticism than others because of how they conduct themselves out on circuit and off circuit as well. So yeah, there's going to be a big collision calling it now. Maybe, possibly. I mean, we've seen incidences down into turn 1 here when it's been in the dry at Interlagos. It's one of those circuits. So Chan, Hulk and Brundle are definitely Verstappen fans. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. Is it raining? Not yet, Tinto. No, not yet. Not yet. There is rain forecast, though. Is rain forecast. Not long. Not long. Am I British? What do you think? Does the accent give it away? Is this my job? Not yet, Letty. No. One day, maybe. One day. I earn a nice bit of pocket money from it, but nothing to support myself full time. So we're quite a way off of that yet. But every single like, every single sub, as I mentioned before, every single membership, it really does bring me closer to making this a dream and doing this full time, providing these watch-alongs and an F1 content to you and sim racing content. So yeah, I really appreciate everyone who keeps tuning into these. And I know I might sound like a broken record in that regard, but truly, I really do. So English feed is world feed. When pundits back Brit driver, it sounds very biased. Yeah, but I mean, why would you not back a British driver? Now, I think for the mostly they are quite objective in their assessments. I think they are, but I think people don't want to hear criticism. People don't want to hear criticism labelled at their favourite driver, regardless of the nationality. Simple as. I mean, you could be a British fan and be a Max Verstappen fan, and they will claim British bias because Max Verstappen's their favourite driver, or Piastri is, or Alonso is, and it's just a lame excuse, really. That's the reason why they just can't handle criticism. Most of the time, fair criticism is labelled from the pundits on TV. There are some pundits where I think they're not as eloquent in how they assess scenarios or put their points across. Some pundits are better than others, but yeah, for the most part, I think they're pretty objective in their views. So 2,000 people and only 200 likes. Oh yeah, 2,500 people. So not long till this race gets underway, guys. We have the tyre blankets off. Big thank you for all the subs coming in. I am now going to mute that alert box because we are not long. Only just 2 minutes until the formation lap gets underway. Lando Norris is starting on intermediate. So as we looked at that Pirelli chart, very few drivers in the Q3 who made it through to Q3 have brand new intermediates available. Only Liam Lawson. So Charles Leclerc has got used tyres as well, as does Oscar Piastri. Norris starting on 4-lap old intermediates, so no doubt that's probably the freshest set of intermediates he has available to him. In these conditions, though, I'm not sure how much wear they would have through those tyres already. Probably not a lot, considering it was quite wet earlier on. So, and everyone outside basically the top 10, well, especially Alonso and Stroll, have brand new set of intermediates available to them. So yes, and of course Alex Albon there doesn't have anything against his name, because if you're just tuning in, he is not starting this race, guys. So if you only listen to your own opinion of driver from others, then you're in an echo chamber. Exactly. So this should be a simple race for Norris today. Oh, famous last words, Wonk. Famous last words. Got a 6-pack, may need them all. Maybe a long one followed by a roast. Sounds like a great Sunday, Lee. I believe a lot of British people are Max fans. Yeah, definitely. Mostly, probably. You think I'm from Essex? I am from Essex, yes. The accent gives it away. The accent most definitely gives it away. Do I still think there'll be a 2-stop race? I think so. I think it may be, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it will be a 1-stop race. I'm not sure. Normally in dry conditions, it is an easy 2-stop race. But in wet conditions, who knows? Could a wet tyre go that long? I think it might be a 2-stop race just purely due to the changing conditions. If it starts, obviously it's starting as it is now with relatively not dry conditions, but it's like slickish conditions, wet conditions, but no rain. If the rain then starts falling, it could mean that actually they need to put on a set of wets. And then it could be that actually it starts to clear up again and then you need to go back to intermediate. So I think in that regard, it could be a 2-stop. But actual tyre wear, not so sure. But here we go, guys. 10 seconds until the formation lap gets underway for this Brazil Grand Prix. Who's going to come out on top? Is it going to be Lando Norris? Is he going to bag maximum points? Where will Max Verstappen finish starting in 17th? I'm now going to end the poll with 1,500 votes. Well, just about 1,500 votes. Let's see what you guys think. Well, 41% of you think he's going to get top 5. A lot of faith in Max Verstappen today, starting down in 17th. 6th to 10th, so that's basically in the points. 39% of you, that seems to be kind of the general consensus, is that Max will score points. It's just where and how many. Outside the points is 11%, 11 to 20th, and well, 7% of you think he's not going to finish at all. Well, he's definitely starting in the carbon fibre zone, down in 17th. Visibility, how is it going to be? I'm waiting to see what the footage is like as the drivers are making their way round to their grid spots now, as Lando Norris is your leader for this race. A dramatic qualifying earlier on today. If you missed it, I highly recommend you go check out the highlights, even after this race, of course, because it was definitely something to check out. But Lando Norris is your pole sitter, with George Russell lining up alongside him on this in P2. Yuki Tsunoda, a great qualifying from him, as Lance Stroll is off at turn 4 on the outlap, ladies and gentlemen. We have a yellow flag on the outlap. We had one last year with Charles Leclerc through turn 6 and he put it in the barrier. And well, Lance Stroll, who crashed in qualifying, is that a mechanical issue from the Aston Martin driver where he's had to pull off to the side? Or has Lance Stroll crashed and gone off at turn 4 on this outlap? If that is the case, no doubt we will have a restart and the formation lap will have to get underway again. We could have a postponement here of this race, as we haven't even got underway yet, ladies and gentlemen. Lance Stroll in turn 4. He has got moving. Has he got moving again? I'm not sure. Of course, we saw Yuki Tsunoda go off there. This could be a mechanical issue. Of course, they worked very hard on Lance Stroll's car to get him starting on the grid as Fernando Alonso, but is Lance Stroll going to get going again? But let's run through your grid until we find out what is exactly happening with Lance Stroll. And there is a double yellow. Is this going to be a postponement of the race? And Stroll has crashed. Stroll indeed has crashed. There is debris on the race circuit and Stroll has lost control of the car. And I'm not sure if he's going to get going again. But Lando Norris is your pole sitter. George Russell is P2. So I'm watching the replay of Lance Stroll as they're driving up to, and Lance Stroll just loses control of the car. Oh my god, he's lost control of the car, he's damaged the front wing, and he might not be able to get that car going again. So pure driver error from Lance Stroll. But Lando Norris is P1, George Russell P2, Yuki Tsunoda P3, Ocon P4, Lawson P5, Leclerc 6th, Albon not starting today, Piastri in P8. Alonso 9th, Stroll 10th, Bottas 11th, Perez 12th, Gasly 13th, Hamilton 14th, Behrman 15th, Colapinto 16th. Stroll is beached, by the way. Stroll is beached in the dirt. I suspect this will be a postponement of the race. We will wait and see, but as they are lining up at the back of the grid there, Colapinto in 16th, Verstappen 17th, Hulkenberg 18th, Zhou 19th. We are about to see whether or not this race is going to get underway. Let's see, and it's an aborted start. Correct decision. Correct decision for the race director there, as Lance Stroll is beached. And Lance Stroll's day has gone from bad to worse. The mechanics worked so hard to get that car into a condition where he could start this race. And before we've even got to the race start, he has lost control under his own steam, spun the car into turn 4, and well, he has then beached the car into turn 4 while trying to turn it around. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Carlos Sainz is still waiting patiently at the end of the pit lane, wondering what the hell is going on. But yes, wow, we have drama before this race has even begun. That's one less car Max Verstappen has to overtake to get into the top 10, guys. Oh, God. He's standing there looking, what the hell is going on? This just... Aston Martin, by the way, the fall-off needs to be investigated, doesn't it? You can't park there. Sainz will have a stone cold everything now. I know. It won't be good for him, will it? But we'll see if they can get rid of this car. I mean, it depends. This race might not. Why are the drivers not pulling away properly? It could be that this race actually is postponed for Lance Stroll. They can't keep these drivers, surely, just keep going around. It could be the mechanics might actually get back out there in relation to Lance Stroll. It depends when they can get rid of that car. Hang on. It could be a safety car start is what I'm hearing. It could be a safety car start. So we will see. We will see. Why are some drivers just start now? I'm not entirely sure. They were just waiting to get away, obviously taking their time. The recovery vehicle is there trying to remove Lance Stroll's car, but Lando Norris is making his way round to the start box, but I don't think it's going to be... I think it's going to be another aborted start. As Valtteri Bottas and Colapinto actually stalled, I think. They weren't able to get going again. Really odd, actually, that the drivers were sitting on the pit box. Lots of on their grid slots. Lots of confusion here at the start, apparently, by the looks of it. Lots of confusion. So yeah, no one really knows what's happening. Listen. As Verstappen was apparently all sorts of procedures have been breached here. They're not entirely sure what's happening. This is going to be another aborted start, no doubt. Where is the safety car here? Why is the safety car not out there driving these cars around at the moment? This is my question, because Lance Stroll's car is in a dangerous position. It's right straight on of turn 4, and we've already seen Lance Stroll lose control there. We saw drivers go off there earlier on as well. And will we have another aborted start? We've got to. Until Lance Stroll's car is removed, we cannot have this race begin. But drivers are getting up to the grid. We'll get ready for this race to get underway. But at the moment, I mean, it's still a yellow flag, and surely this race cannot get underway. Surely. What is going on? No idea. Clear. Oh, apparently now track is clear. Track is now clear. So is this race getting underway? Who knows if there's going to be any penalties? Who knows who's going to lead down into the first corner? All their tyre prep is gone. Let's get ready for this race start, guys. Is it going to be underway? Who knows? Let's find out. Let's keep an eye out on whether it's going to be green light, and away we go. Let's see. And formation lap will start 12:47. We have a race postponement for 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Race postponement for 10 minutes. Drama before the race has even begun, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Let's put this back up then, shall we? Let's put my timer back up. I'm going to have to redo that, aren't I? Going to have to redo that as we have a postponement. Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Unbelievable. Oh, Lando Norris. Race start procedure infringement. Starting procedure infringement for Lando Norris. What is that for? This mess was caused from the front. We're just trying to unpick it. Hang on. Oh, Lando might have led the cars away, and he might get a penalty. Oh no, Lando Norris might get a penalty for a race infringement start. Oh. Wow. We'll see what's happening here. We'll see what's happening. Lots of confusion. Still, this race could completely flip on its head. Lando could get a penalty before the race has even begun. What is happening? 3:43. What time's it starting again? 12:47. So 3:47 is when the race is going to begin. 8 minutes or so. God, I'm trying to keep up with you guys. What exactly is happening? But yes. So we have a race restart back at 12:47, 3:47, guys. Under investigation. So apparently Lando Norris, so it said aborted start, but apparently because there was no green light that was on the lights for him to go back round, he supposedly might have broken the starting procedure infringement. Who knows? So, yeah, we'll see. Man, from what we've seen, Lando might just create a 20-second lead if uncontested, yeah. Hope the grid goes bananas and start crashing into each other. I mean, well, Lance Stroll's already caused some drama here at the start. We've had one lap of this race by the looks of it. 70 laps remaining now, as you can see. We've conducted one lap at least, but formation lap will get back underway as you can see on your screen there, in 7.5 minutes time, guys. They would all need to be penalised, not just Lando. Well, this is what they might do, but they might penalise Lando for leading them away, so we'll see. What has happened to Sainz? Sainz is still starting from the pit lane. So watching the race start, hang on. Oh. Oh, so they've had... Oh, hang on. So a aborted start normally says wait for further update. All the pit crews are back out there. They are obviously getting the engine covers back, or the wheel covers back on the cars, ensuring that they're getting prepped again for a race start. But yes, Lando Norris is being investigated, though, for that starting procedure, so we'll see. It seems like there might have been a bit of a mix-up, though, with race control. Maybe race control wasn't quite clear. Bernie Collins on the Sky TV coverage is stating that normally this is what you would see from race control. So there is a bit of onus from race control. There's a bit of onus on the driver, so we'll see. I think it was maybe because he led the random other lap, but they all did. God knows, guys. God knows. We'll keep you updated. Should have brought out the safety car. Would have dried the track up a bit. Maybe. Interlagos never disappoints. I know the race hasn't even got underway yet. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It is under investigation, so... we'll see. I mean, maybe they'll give penalties to everyone. I don't know. Or do they... Who knows? Who knows? Aborted start is 10 place penalty. Is it really? Wow. Surely not. Surely it's not 10 place. This, ladies and gents, is truly the peak of motorsport. Hang on. So also, it looks like, well, this race was going to start basically in dryish conditions. There is heavy dark clouds hovering around the race circuit, guys. So it could end up being a race start under wet conditions. 10 seconds. Okay. Looks like Max will want it then. Of course he will, yeah. That should be a fine in my honest opinion. Not a time penalty since it is safety, not gaining a competitive advantage. I read Red Bull noticed the false. They did indeed, yeah. So Max didn't leave anywhere, and that's why there was confusion of why we saw the driver markers not moving anywhere from their grid slots, because normally a bolted lap, that normally you wait for a further information that says extra formation lap or a green light. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So what is my opinion? Lando can win the championship. It all depends on today, really. All depends on today. If there's a risk if you proceed qualifying in freaking wet conditions. Yeah, hang on. So there is no... Hang on. So apparently this is unprecedented. There is no penalty. There is no guideline for the penalty that should be given under this scenario. Wow. This is unprecedented. There is nothing in the penalties that states this should result in a penalty. It's new territory. Will they give him a penalty, or will they then clarify it afterwards and add it to the guidelines? But if you do this, it's a penalty. Who knows? Who knows? This could get messy. Oh, God. The race hasn't even started yet, and it could get messy. What the hell? What the hell? F1 has a lot of loopholes, yeah. I don't think Lando should get a penalty if it was only formation. Well, this is it. This is unprecedented. I don't think this has happened yet. This has not happened yet. This is why we need clear and simple rules. I know. I mean, I guess you can't... Hang on. God knows. God knows. Really, God knows. We're still waiting to see what will be the result of that. But at the moment, we're not sure. We're not sure. What has happened that hasn't happened yet? So basically what happened, guys, if you're just joining us, Lance Stroll crashed before the race began through to turn 4. The mechanics worked so hard to get his car in tip-top shape. But, hang on, just trying to get an update in relation to from the pit lane. Let's see what they've got to say. Well, this is it. They might whether they penalise everyone or not, they might penalise the leader because then everyone follows the leader. So, yeah, lead from example, you know. But it is unprecedented. So, basically, what happened? Lance Stroll crashed on the outlap of formation lap down into turn 4. He then beached his car, which meant that there was an aborted start. Now, normally, kind of what happens is that there's maybe an extra formation lap. And that, I think, is what Lando Norris assumed. And he went and did an extra formation lap. But there was confusion on the grid because there was no additional information that stated there should be an extra formation lap. And that's why some drivers waited on the grid box. Everyone did an extra formation lap, and now the race start has been postponed, as you can see there. Whether we'll actually get underway in 1 minute 30 seconds, I do not have a clue. We will find out very shortly. But yes, Lando Norris is now being investigated for an incident that has no precedent. We have not experienced this before in F1 history. So who knows if he'll get a penalty? Who knows if it's down to race control? No idea. No idea. If race director cancels start, then surely they need to give direction. If there is no direction, Lando goes. I think it should be no penalty. If directions were given, then Lando ignore penalty. Yeah, that's what they might do. And it gets messy if there is nothing in the regulations that stipulate there's a penalty to be awarded for this. So, yeah, that's where it also gets messy. Who knows? Who knows? But drama here, guys, before the race has even begun. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Can we get this stream to 1,000 likes before the race even begins? 50 seconds until it's supposedly the formation lap. We have our third formation lap. Let's see if it's going to happen. Rain is on its way, but it's not here yet, so no doubt it won't be long until they dive into the pits. Will someone take the risk to start on the wet tyres? I don't know. We will see. Of course, drivers do have their engineers around them at the moment, so we could see some changes in tyre choice if that is the case. But we have 20 seconds until this formation lap is supposed to get underway. Let's see. Rain is on its way, but let's see, guys. Let's see. Prediction: this race will drag on for hours, considering everything that has happened this weekend. Lewis winning. Oh God. Let's see. Let's see. Organised chaos or just chaos? I think it's just chaos. Just chaos. Interlagos, everyone. Welcome to Interlagos if you're unfamiliar. So, this is where the formation lap is getting underway, guys. Once again, we have a formation lap and we should be starting this race very shortly. Hopefully, no start procedure infringements. Hopefully no one goes off on the outlap. There is still that possibility. So let's see. Let's see. But we have lost Lance Stroll from this race already. We have lost Alex Albon from this race after his crash in qualifying. He is a non-starter. And Carlos Sainz is just patiently waiting from the pit lane, waiting for this race to get underway. Oh, God, guys. Oh, God. Here we go. Here we go. Interlagos always provides the drama. Calling it Sonoda crash right now. I hope not. I hope not. So I am unfamiliar. This chaos is crazy. I know, guys. So should we have a run through the grid one last time? For about the third time this time around. Lance Stroll interrupted us last time. Let's hope no one does so this time around as well. So, Lando Norris is your pole sitter in P1. Who knows if he's going to get an incumbent penalty for that start procedure? We will see. George Russell in P2. Yuki Tsunoda in P3 and Esteban Ocon lining up on the second row. Liam Lawson in P5. Great qualifying from the RB drivers. Charles Leclerc is in P6. Alex Albon is a non-starter. Piastri is starting in P8 and Fernando Alonso in P9. Great job by the Aston Martin mechanics to get that car of Fernando Alonso on the grid. Lance Stroll, as we've already mentioned, has gone out in the outlap on the formation lap, beached his car, crashed it, and will not start this race. Valtteri Bottas in P11, Perez in P12, Pierre Gasly is in 13th, Lewis Hamilton in 14th, Ollie Behrman in 15th, Colapinto in 16th, Max Verstappen with that 5-place grid penalty is starting in 17th. Hulkenberg in 18th, Zhou in 19th, and Sainz in P20. Hang on. And apparently the rain is right on top of them. This race, guys, we're starting on the intermediate tyre, but we could be going to wet conditions and possibly wet tyres very shortly. Wow, this race, this day, what a day of Formula 1, guys. So much drama. If you've missed it, where have you been? Thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes and hit that subscribe button as well. We're trying to obviously hit another milestone today, but we are moments away from this Grand Prix. Finally, the Brazilian Grand Prix getting underway. Where will Max Verstappen finish? Where will Lando finish? Does he have a penalty on the way? Who knows? No doubt this is not going to be the last of the drama that we are going to experience today throughout the duration of this race, with rain very, very close. So finally, we are 20 minutes late, but here the grid is about to start, and it's green light, and away we go. Who's going to lead down into the first corner? Will Lando Norris get pipped into the first corner by George Russell, or will Yuki Tsunoda get ahead of him? It seems George has got ahead of Norris down into the first corner, and George Russell leads down into the first corner. As you can see there, Lance Stroll and Albon moving down to the bottom as their non-starters. Sainz will join at the back. Hamilton's up 3 positions. Verstappen's up 4 positions as well, up 5 positions. Perez has lost 3 positions there. A poor start from him. Valtteri Bottas, Verstappen is already up into P11. A brilliant start from Max Verstappen. He's already just outside the points. Carlos Sainz joins at the back of the grid there, and George Russell leads from Lando Norris with Yuki Tsunoda in P3. Oscar Piastri swaps positions with Fernando Alonso and regains the place from Alonso, and he's on the back of Liam Lawson. Leclerc is up a position on Lawson as well. A good start from Yuki and Ocon, a consistent start from them, which is what they wanted. Lewis Hamilton up 4 positions as well, and Bottas is falling down the order here as Ollie Behrman nips him. A great start from both Gasly, Hamilton, Verstappen and Colapinto there, gaining multiple positions at the start. A few of them assisted by, of course, the retirement of Lance Stroll and the non-starter of Alex Albon. But what a start from that lot at the start. Perfect start for Max Verstappen, and I'm waiting to see the replay here on the start. Lando Norris just slightly bogged down as George Russell went straight ahead of him. And Max Verstappen, Sainz pips Perez, and Perez has damage. There's a yellow flag for Sergio Perez. Perez is off. Is that just a mistake, or does Sergio Perez have damage? And he's now at the back of the grid here. He started ahead of his teammate who had the grid place penalty. And well, Sergio Perez is down in 18th place. It is Russell from Norris, Tsunoda in P3, Ocon in P4, Charles Leclerc P5, Lawson in P6 as Bottas is nearly getting overtaken by Zhou Guanyu. And then Verstappen gets past Hamilton. Verstappen is already up into the points finishing positions in P10. Those of you who predicted he would finish in the top 10, you at the moment are looking correct. He now has his sights set on Gasly, Fernando Alonso, and of course, importantly for him, the battle will be with Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris's teammate. That is going to be really essential here. But you can see Russell and Norris already putting a gap comfortably to Tsunoda and Ocon. The rain is on its way, and you can see there the indication at the top right hand of in the middle of your screen, rain. Yes, it is currently raining. As Sergio Perez did spin. Sergio Perez just spun. No contact. Driver error. He has got going again, as we saw. And well, Sergio Perez, as the rain is starting to come down, we are on the intermediate tyre. How long will it potentially be until we get onto the wet tyre? Who knows? Dramatic start in this race. Russell leads from Lando Norris. Lando Norris 1.9 seconds back. Of course, with wet conditions down a wet circuit, there is no DRS available. Max Verstappen, a great move on Lewis Hamilton, who didn't fight it too hard. Lewis Hamilton, who is not comfortable in that Mercedes today. But Max Verstappen, 9 tenths behind Pierre Gasly. We'll see if Lewis can come back at him. But a fastest lap there from George Russell. Lando Norris in P2, struggling to get these tyres maybe up to temperature. But Tsunoda being followed by Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc looking to dispatch the Alpine as quick as he can and get onto the back of Lando Norris. Of course, important for Ferrari's constructors' title ambitions this year. With Carlos Sainz down in P17, it's a tall order for him to score points today. But George Russell leading out front in clean air with a clear visor is setting fastest sectors at the moment. Liam Lawson doing a good job in P6. Oscar Piastri struggling to chase him down as well, as Verstappen near closing down on Pierre Gasly, but as is Pierre Gasly on Fernando Alonso. And it seems that both McLarens really aren't setting the timing sheets alight at this early stage of the race, as Oscar Piastri is in P7, 1.2 seconds back from Liam Lawson, and has Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly and Max Verstappen in close proximity. The Bottas is down 4 positions, unfortunately, after a great start from him. Nico Hulkenberg up 4 positions in P14. Ollie Bearman as well. The 2 rookies of Colapinto and Bearman close together. Colapinto trying to chase down the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton also trying to get into the draft or the toe of Max Verstappen there, as Pierre Gasly is looking to make a move on Fernando Alonso. Esteban Ocon is under attack from Charles Leclerc though, but Charles Leclerc seems to have just spun up his rear wheels a little bit there and lost a bit of traction through turn 12, and without DRS assistance, that is unfortunate for Leclerc. He's really going to have to be committed on the brakes and be a bit closer if he wants to have a move on Esteban Ocon, who is really confident in the Alpine in these conditions, as we saw from the outset of qualifying. Lando Norris 1.44 seconds back from George Russell at the moment, fastest lap from him last time around. Let's see if he's now going to get a move on and potentially make a move on George Russell with maybe those intermediate tyres now up to temperature. Zhou Guanyu, Perez still at the back of the grid trying to chase down Zhou Guanyu, as Sainz has now got ahead of Zhou Guanyu and is now looking at the rear wing of Valtteri Bottas. Colapinto falling back a little bit from Lewis Hamilton there in P12, with Ollie Bearman breathing down his neck. Lewis Hamilton just falling off the wayside a bit of Max Verstappen, who is all over the back of Pierre Gasly. Will he go for an aggressive move down the inside of turn 8? Will he go for it? Max Verstappen, we know he's aggressive. Does he go for it? They're side by side into turn 8. Who's going to come out in front? Max is still just behind the Pierre Gasly, but they're still side by side as they go through there. Max is all over the rear wing of Pierre Gasly and he's pressuring him into making a mistake. And there's a yellow flag in that turn 9 corner. Ollie Bearman's gone off. He's got going again, and unfortunately Ollie Bearman has fallen back to P16 behind Carlos Sainz. He's made an error there through turn 9, just lost control of the car. He's gathered it well, as Lando Norris has now got that gap to 1 second behind George Russell, a 25.1 last time around, half a second quicker for the McLaren driver. As Max Verstappen is told that the heavy rain will last 2 to 3 minutes as it currently stands, but it is still intermediate tyres. Lando Norris, he's feeling more comfortable on those intermediates now as they are up to temperature, with George Russell just 1 second, under 1 second ahead now. But of course there is no DRS in these wet weather conditions. Piastri is also in a similar position to Lando. After a couple of laps has got those tyres up to temperature and is now up on the behind of Liam Lawson, as Verstappen has got ahead of Pierre Gasly quite comfortably. Down into P4, Pierre Gasly has been dispatched comfortably by Verstappen there, and Verstappen is already up into P9. He's already up 8 places with that new internal combustion engine, and this is essential for Lando Norris to get past George Russell here, as Zhou has an issue, or has Zhou just gone off track there? He's fallen back behind Sergio Perez, and Perez is on the back of rookie Ollie Bearman in the Haas, who has had a wobble himself. So Perez and Bearman, 2 drivers who have had big wobbles in this race thus far, at the back there in 16th and 17th. Sainz trying to pick off Valtteri Bottas and move his way up into P14, but George Russell is under attack now from Lando Norris, who has the grip in those tyres, and it seems Bearman and Colapinto is being noted for causing a collision. So contact there between the 2 rookies. We'll see exactly what has happened there, but George Russell 7 tenths ahead of Lando Norris now. Lando feeling comfortable in that McLaren, those tyres up to temperature, as I said, similarly to Oscar Piastri, who is chasing down Liam Lawson and pulled away from Alonso, and it seems that Verstappen is going to get Fernando Alonso maybe into turn 1. He's going to dispatch Alonso very quickly here, and then the battle will be between Piastri and Verstappen. That's where things could get fraught. That's where things are going to get interesting. We will see, and no doubt Piastri is being warned of a charge in Verstappen here at the moment, Hamilton-esque, as we saw in 2021, where Hamilton went from back of the grid on the sprint race to winning the eventual race on Sunday, and Max Verstappen starting from 17th. He's already up 9 positions into P8, easy peasy, past Fernando Alonso. And now he has his sights set on Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris needs to really win this race today to ensure that he makes sure that this championship goes on to the end, last race of the season. Russell, Tsunoda and Lawson, starting procedure infringement also noted as well. So that is still being investigated, that starting procedure infringement with Lando Norris and the other drivers who followed suit. So it looks like they're investigating everyone who followed Lando Norris, but pretty much that is kind of the whole grid. But Lando Norris 9 tenths back from George Russell at the moment. Max Verstappen flying at the moment, fastest middle sector for him, and he is gaining on Oscar Piastri. That is who he has his sights set on now, 2.2 seconds back. Piastri coming a bit unstuck behind Liam Lawson in P6. He is without DRS, just falling a little bit to the wayside. And with these cars, even in these wet conditions, are throwing off dirty air, as Max Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the race with a 24.3, and in comparison to the front two, a 24.6 and a 24.9 for Lando Norris. That is considerably quicker. So Max Verstappen in a little bit of clean air, he's 1.7 seconds back from Oscar Piastri right now, and well, he is catching at a rate of knots. We'll see how hard Oscar Piastri is going to fight this battle with Max Verstappen, and how much of a teammate is he going to play against in regards to his teammate, because the way Max is going at the moment, he will not be that far behind Lando Norris when it comes to it in a few laps time. He's picking him off very, very quickly. Lando Norris still unable to really gain on George Russell at the moment. 7 tenths back on George. Of course, there is a impending penalty looming over him at the moment for that starting procedure. And the way it's going at the moment, Lando really needs to get past George. He hasn't got off. He didn't get into P1 from the get-go. And this is really putting a spanner in the works to Lando Norris's race. Struggling with a bit of grip through turn 12. Max Verstappen, quick again, 44.6 in the middle sector compared to everyone else. And he's already 1.2 seconds behind Oscar Piastri, who is floundering a bit behind the Red Bull or the RB car of Liam Lawson, who is just doing his own race. Charles Leclerc also coming unstuck as well behind Esteban Ocon, and they're struggling to overtake here. So Max Verstappen, of course, we know is good in these conditions, but how much of an influence and advantage is that internal combustion engine unit giving to Max, as he is now within 1 second of Oscar Piastri? Max is feeling very, very super confident in these conditions right now, and he's just beating these drivers under braking. As look at the gap closing under braking down into turn 4. Max Verstappen 7.5 tenths back of Oscar Piastri. And I'll tell you what, the way Max is going at the moment, this is, as I mentioned already, Hamilton-esque from 2021, and I could see him winning this race at this pace if he's able to dispatch these cars in quick succession. Of course, catching is one thing, overtaking is another, but he has already conducted multiple overtakes in the first 8 laps of this race. So we'll see. Of course, the power unit change does help around this circuit. Of course, it's very power driven, full throttle pretty much all the way from turn 12 to turn 1, and then of course from the exit of turn 2 to turn 4. So we'll see how hard can Oscar Piastri fight off Max Verstappen right now. Does he have the pace? Is he going to be able to hold him up? We will see. Of course, a very long way to go in this race though. 63 laps remaining. Anything can happen. We've already seen drama in this race as Norris responds now with a fastest last sector there. And there's a 10-second time penalty for Ollie Behrman for causing a collision. So clearly Ollie Behrman caused the collision with Colapinto. And well, even though Behrman came off worse, he has now got a 10-second time penalty that will be taken at the next pit stop. But Verstappen is all over the rear of Oscar Piastri. This is where it's closest at the moment. Lando's just under a second on George Russell, but of course there is no DRS. Will Oscar go defensive on the inside to turn 4? Of course, they're the ahead of the apex rule. Will he fight it? Will Max Verstappen go around the outside and find the grip? He's looking for it, Max, but Piastri defends valiantly on the inside and forces Max to go round the outside, and so he has to wait just a little bit longer. But with the extra grip and confidence that Max has on the brakes at the moment, it does look like it is maybe only a matter of time. But let's see how we'll see how hard Oscar will be able to defend from Max. Of course, no DRS might help him hold off the Red Bull driver for a little bit longer, but Max is flying and arguably the quickest driver out there at the moment. Lando Norris still 1 second back from George Russell. He just cannot gain on George at the moment when it matters. And well, it seems that Lando needs really the assistance of DRS. The Mercedes, in George Russell's hands at least, is feeling comfortable in these wet weather conditions. Still on the intermediate tyre. It looks like really it's not raining, it's trickling at the moment in regards to the weather. And well, there we go. Max Verstappen, the run now down into turn 1. Will Oscar Piastri be able to defend here from Max? Of course, he'll have another opportunity down into turn 4. Max goes late on the brakes. Can he go around the outside of the McLaren of Oscar Piastri? He's gone for the move, and I think they're side by side, but does Max Verstappen hold on to the position? And he does. Max Verstappen has got ahead of Oscar Piastri into turn 3, and will Piastri be able to come back at Max Verstappen as they head down into turn 4? I'm not sure he'll be able to, and Max Verstappen is already up into P7. Unbelievable. He has dispatched Oscar Piastri, and Piastri hasn't been able to hold back the Flying Dutchman as he is up into P7. 10 positions gained already. Unbelievable drive thus far from Max Verstappen. As Lewis Hamilton is reporting, the ride is really bad. Car is bouncing so much. That poor 40-year-old man's back. Bless Lewis Hamilton in that Mercedes. But he is still only one place outside of the points positions. But Max Verstappen is now looking at Liam Lawson ahead of him. He is only a couple of positions away from the top 5, and importantly for him, he is only 11 seconds from the race lead of George Russell, as Lando Norris is coming unstuck of George Russell. And well, I tell you what, Oscar Piastri was very, very compliant in the defence. Oscar Piastri was very, very compliant in defence of Max Verstappen. They're stating that Max came from so far back it caught Oscar out. But I tell you what, I think Oscar was very compliant in that defence there of Max Verstappen and didn't even cover the inside. So interesting dynamic there from Oscar Piastri. But interestingly for Lando Norris is that he has set a similar lap time to Max Verstappen last time around there, a 24.0, but cannot get past the Mercedes of George Russell, and this is really where it is. Lando maybe could go quicker than George Russell, but he's not in clean air. Just watching the replay of Ollie Behrman's incident with Colapinto. Colapinto ran a bit wide, and it's just a very slight misjudgment for Ollie Behrman making contact with Colapinto. I'm surprised really that is a 10-second time penalty, to be honest with you. I'm really surprised about that. That wasn't really too much of a racing incident, as Max Verstappen has been let by Liam Lawson, unsurprisingly there. No reason to hold that position, and well, I think, yeah, Oscar Piastri opened the door very nicely to Max Verstappen there down into turn 1. Make of that what you will. But Max is now up into P6, up 11 positions, and he's 2.7 seconds back from Charles Leclerc, who cannot get past the Alpine of Esteban Ocon. As George Russell, and there's a yellow flag. Where is there a yellow flag? It's Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton has gone off at turn 12. Is he able to get going again? Does he have damage in his car? I think he's got going again. But yes, the green flag is back going. Lewis Hamilton's had an off through turn 12, and Lewis has dropped down to P12 now, and unfortunately he's going to lose the position to Colapinto, it seems, as George Russell has stepped his foot on the gas with a fastest lap last time around and a fastest first sector as well. Wow. Lewis Hamilton, yes, off at turn 12, and Liam Lawson left the door open for Max Verstappen to go up through into turn 7 there, or turn 8. Sainz has got past Valtteri Bottas finally, but we are seeing drivers come a little bit unstuck here, other than Max Verstappen, who has made his way easily through the field, as Colapinto has got past Lewis Hamilton down into turn 4 there. So Colapinto up into P12, Hulkenberg up 7 positions at the moment as well. Haas looking for another points finish here, but Ollie Behrman has a 10-second time penalty, so looks like he won't finish in those places. But Behrman has just got past Sergio Perez there, interestingly enough. Sergio Perez still floundering back at the grid in P16. Guys, if you are liking this stream at this moment in time, please hit that like button. Let's get this stream to over 1,000 likes. 8,000 of you here right now. Let's hit that subscribe button as well. Get that number at just above my head up to 33,000. That'd be much appreciated. But Max Verstappen, fastest first and second sector there. He is now 1.4 seconds back behind who is Charles Leclerc, and Max, wow, 23.4. As wow, Norris will be investigated after the race, starting procedure infringement, as will George Russell, as will Tsunoda and Lawson. So interesting there that they're going to investigate that after the race. So clearly, because there's no precedent set for that scenario, they obviously want to discuss it with the team. So let's see what comes with that after the race. This race has been drama from before it even got started, and there could be drama after it finishes as well. But as it currently stands, George Russell is your leader from Lando Norris in P2, who is trying to chase down that gap of currently 8 tenths from Russell, but he just loses the all-important extra grip that he needs through the last sector here, through turn 9, through turn 10, and he's just not close enough without the assistance of DRS to get past George out on circuit. Yuki Tsunoda doing a great job in P3. Of course, he doesn't have the pace in that RB car to keep up with Norris and Russell, but he's leading that pack of Ocon, Leclerc, and, well, Verstappen as it currently stands. But Verstappen all over the rear of Charles Leclerc, and you think, similar to the sprint race, it was only a matter of time before he picks off Charles Leclerc, and that will be Max into the top 5. Lawson in P7, Piastri in P8. The McLaren of Oscar Piastri really not putting in a shift in here in this race, as he is in P8. He's let Max Verstappen get past quite comfortably, left the door open, in my personal opinion, while it might have been While it might have happened eventually, it was an uninspiring defence of Oscar Piastri on Max Verstappen. On Alonso in P9, Gasly in P10, Hulkenberg up 7 positions into P11, Colapinto now up into P12 as well. Lewis Hamilton, who's had that off through turn 12, he was in P11, is now in P13. Sainz up 6 places, starting from the pit lane in P14. Ollie Behrman has a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Colapinto, which I think is very harsh, to be honest with you, as he did spin himself. Perez in P16, Bottas in 17th, Zhou in 18th, and Albon and Stroll are non-starters. Well, Stroll did start, but he went out and spun it on his out on the formation lap. So, Max Verstappen, 5 tenths behind Charles Leclerc. He's in a train now of Tsunoda, Ocon and Leclerc. You know, if he's able to clear Leclerc and Ocon, Tsunoda will not hold him up. We now expect the rain to last until lap 50. Lap 50. I think is what I just saw there. Lap 50 is what the... hang on. 1.3 seconds a lap faster than last lap Max Verstappen was on Charles Leclerc. So let's see what happens with Max Verstappen. I mean, if Max started really on this pace, if he started further up, he could be in the lead already. George Russell is holding up a frustrating Lando Norris. Lando is not able to stay close enough to George Russell in the traction zones to get close enough to him to make an overtake. This is the important thing for Lando. He needs to win every race, really, between now and the end of the season to have an opportunity, because Max Verstappen, it seems, is not willing to give him a sniff or a chance at gaining a sizable chunk of points on him throughout the duration of this season. The largest points difference has been in Australia, where Max had his one and only retirement. Even starting from 17th place, Max Verstappen has said, you think you're going to win this race today, Lando? You think you're going to score 25 points over me? How about no, as I'm in P6 and no doubts could finish on the podium, could even win this race with the pace that he currently has, but he is currently stuck behind Charles Leclerc. We'll see if he can dispatch Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon, who the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc has come unstuck behind, and also Ocon hasn't been able to get past Yuki Tsunoda either. So we'll see how long, with 56 laps remaining, we'll see how long we have until someone decides to make a pit stop. Will the rain become harder? Who knows? At the moment, it is consistently falling, and they reckon it's going to carry on until at least lap 50. So that is quite a long way. Of course, a 70-lap race here, normally 71, but because we had that aborted first formation lap, it got reduced down to 70. But there is a 8-second gap now between Yuki Tsunoda, 8.8-second gap now between Yuki Tsunoda and Lando Norris. And George Russell. 7.7 seconds to Lando Norris, apologies, as Charles Leclerc trying to go for a move on Esteban Ocon. He's had a little sniff there. He was on the rear wing of Esteban Ocon, and he needs to be careful, Charles, because if he doesn't get past Ocon, he'll have Max Verstappen willing to take an opportunity there, as we can see them neck and neck. Down into turn 4. Will Max go for a move? Will Charles be able to cover it off? We know Max has been very aggressive on the brakes here. He seems very confident under braking. And Charles Leclerc, they're side by side. And Max has to just back out of that move, as Pierre Gasly has also got past Alonso down into turn 4 as well. And Max, he has the grip. Will he go for a late move down into turn 8? We've seen it already from Max. He feels confident to try and overtake at areas, but others are failing to do so at the moment. And Charles just holds off Max for a little bit longer and also stays still in the tow of Esteban Ocon. But importantly for Charles, that has removed Esteban Ocon from the tow of Yuki Tsunoda, so he won't get that assistance of being dragged along down the main straight. Ooh, Max is driving a torpedo. He is driving a rocket at the moment, similar to Hamilton back in 2021. Max is driving a rocket, and he is using his skills in the wet and his confidence under braking to ensure he has made a number of overtakes. So Oscar Piastri is struggling. He's just not able to stay on pace with Russell and Norris. And I mean, I'm going to say, I've mentioned it a few times. You watch that defense of Piastri on Verstappen. It's too easy. It's too easy, and I don't think McLaren will be too happy about it, as Alonso sets the fastest last sector there out of anyone. Right, Alonso, lap time deleted through turn 2 on lap 16. So we're starting to see a few track limits violations at the moment, maybe with the rain coming down a little bit harder. Lando Norris radio. I'm just struggling to overtake so slow in the straight. So is that because Is that because of the rear wing that they are running? They have the Austin, Mexico rear wing on their car, but it's still not enough to get past George Russell at the moment, who is in clean air. Even in these wet conditions, dirty air does play a factor, and it will affect the amount of grip and traction that Lando will be able to get out of the slower corners that are so important to ensure, without DRS, that he can make an overtake on George. Let's have a look through turn 12. Currently 8 tenths back on George Russell. Does that gap go further out on the exit of turn 12? No, Lando's actually got it down a little bit there. He got good traction, but 8 tenths is not close enough down the start-finish straight to gain on George Russell. You can see there, he's actually losing a bit of time to George Russell down the start-finish straight in the toe. That is unbelievable. The McLaren is not that quick in a straight line compared to the to the Mercedes of George, and it's really holding him up. And well, Max is also coming a little bit unstuck now as well. After making great gains early on in this race, he is a little bit stuck behind Charles Leclerc and Esteban Ocon. Maybe he's also finding, seeing things a little bit similar in the dirty air. And of course, with Charles Leclerc tucked up behind Esteban Ocon, he might be waiting for an opportunity of Charles Leclerc to be put out of position on a move with Esteban Ocon. But yes, we will see. We will see, guys. Again, Lando just struggling with that third sector like earlier. Yes, Stephen. Yes, yes. Yeah, more rain. Let's go. Woo, it seems like it, guys. It does seem like it. Big thank you to everyone tuning into this stream, by the way. Hope you're enjoying the commentary. If you are, and you're enjoying this watch along and this channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. Nearly at 1,000 likes. Go on, guys. Let's get this to 2,000 likes. There's nearly 8,500 of you in here. You can hit that subscribe button as well and get this stream to 33,000 subscribers. That'd be much appreciated. It's just a token of your appreciation of how much you're liking this stream. So Lewis Hamilton has closed back up on Colapinto, it seems, and he is hounding the young Argentinian. Carlos Sainz also up in P14 as well, and it seems that Lewis Hamilton has found a bit of extra grip compared to Colapinto, as he is all over the rear wing there. Lando Norris once again unable to gain and actually losing time down the start-finish straight. Maybe he's pulling out of the toe. Let's just see. I'm waiting to watch the TV coverage to see if he actually pulls out of the toe of George Russell. That'd be very interesting to see. He's got a good exit though there through turn 2. So let's see. George make a slight mistake there, under braking into the first sector. Does Lando have enough? No, he doesn't. Look, you can see Lewis Hamilton has lost a position to Carlos Sainz actually there, and Max Verstappen is still held back. But Lando Norris is struggling to stay with George Russell down the straights, and what he said is the fact that he's too slow is a clear indication here. No, I said Colapinto's Argentinian. But just waiting to see coverage and see if Lando Norris is indeed staying within the toe of George Russell, or whether or not he's pulling out of that toe at the moment, maybe to try and cool the tyres. We will see. Colapinto noted, leaving the track and gaining an advantage has been noted. But let's see. Russell's Mercedes is so stable. What's going on there? I know. So Lando is staying in. He is trying to stay in the toe of George Russell, but that Mercedes is so quick in a straight line. George Russell is holding off Lando purely because he has the straight line speed in that Mercedes. Unbelievable setup choices may be made by McLaren, which has meant that while they were in clean air, he might be able to drive away, but to try and make that car an overtaking car, as Oscar Piastri is finding, he is coming unstuck. Max Verstappen has fallen back a little bit behind Charles Leclerc, 9 tenths back of Charles Leclerc now, maybe just trying to get out of the dirty air and just cool his tyres a little bit. We will see and assess the situation, as Yuki Tsunoda is now being closed upon by Esteban Ocon in P4, Leclerc in P5, Verstappen in P6. Hang on. As they are watching, yes, they're talking about pit stops there with Lando Norris. They're trying to get to the rain, the hard rain coming down. As I was just watching a battle with Ollie Behrman making a great move on Lewis Hamilton there, down into turn 4. Lewis Hamilton, how sad things are for him this weekend, down in P15, and he has a battle now with Sergio Perez impending. Sainz on the back of Colapinto as well. But let's keep, as I'm just watching Lewis Hamilton's onboard, and I think Lewis Hamilton locked up and nearly went off at turn 12 again. So Lewis Hamilton struggling in that Mercedes. But Charles Leclerc defending from Max Verstappen, who has now just got on the back again of the Ferrari driver. And as Max Verstappen got ahead of Charles Leclerc there, he disappeared for a moment on the track map, and it seems no, he's just held position down into turn 11. But Max Verstappen now back on the charge after maybe dropping back a little bit to cool his tyres, as George Russell has pulled out a gap of 1.4 seconds on Lando Norris there now. A bit of step up in pace for George Russell, a 23.7 and a 24.1 from Lando Norris. So not a good lap from him. But here we go, the run down to turn 1. Will Max Verstappen go for a late move and catch Charles Leclerc napping like he did some others then down into turn 1? No, he's not close enough, even with the confidence he has in that Red Bull right now. Not close enough to get past Charles Leclerc into that turn 1 corner, as Charles is still in the tow of Esteban Ocon. And really, these rain conditions at the moment making it difficult for these top cars to get past those ahead. But Carlos Sainz on the back of Colapinto. Will there be a move here for the Ferrari driver to move up into P12? No, not close enough just yet. But Lando Norris is starting to fall back from George Russell, a 23.7 for him. And, well, if Lando doesn't win this race, even with Max Verstappen in P6, that is not enough. There is not enough points gain for Lando Norris here. It is only 18 points for Lando Norris. Of course, with the additional 3 points, it is still a sizable point swing, but he wants that extra 7 points that a race win would get him. It is essential. And you can see George Russell there, a fastest middle sector compared to the rest of the field, a couple of attempts quicker than Lando Norris, and that gap has now got to 1.7 seconds. Has Lando come to the end of these intermediate tyres, and is he just thinking about sitting back and trying to look after them for now? Maybe that was the call over the radio of them seeing to get to the rain and then making the right call to the right tyre, as Leclerc is under attack from Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc has had a poor last sector there, and Max Verstappen is easily going to get past Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari, down into turn 1. Or will Charles Leclerc defend on the inside? Will there be an overlap? Will there be incident? Let's see, Charles Leclerc and Verstappen, they're side by side through turn 1. Who's going to come out ahead? And Charles Leclerc holds off Red Bull with Max Verstappen just down into turn 1. But the move isn't done yet. Charles Leclerc is going to have to defend down into turn 4 as Max Verstappen is all over the rear wing of the Ferrari driver. They head down into turn 4. Does he cover the inside? It's a smart decision to do, and he does. But for how much grip has Max got on the exit of turn 4 there? We've seen him make a move down into turn 6 and turn 8 before. He's got the drive on Charles Leclerc. He's going side by side through turn 6. Very risky for both drivers here, as there could be incident, and Max just backs out of it for now. And Charles Leclerc, a valiant defence against the Red Bull driver. Wow! Great defensive driving from Charles Leclerc there, as he made a mistake in the last sector. The battle isn't over and done with yet, as Carlos Sainz has made contact, it seems, or gone off through turn 4. Carlos Sainz trying to overtake Ollie Behrman has gone off circuit, and well, he's now fighting Sergio Perez, and this is all for 13th place. Ollie Behrman is fighting some real very good drivers here, as Verstappen tried to go around the outside down into turn 1, and Charles Leclerc defended the apex perfectly. And that is how you defend. Indeed, guys, Charles Leclerc, a brilliant defence there. Max Verstappen had to back out of the corner because he knew he wasn't ahead at the apex, and, well, just conceded the corner to Charles, and then Charles had the pace down into turn 4. But he did have a poor exit, and Max Verstappen came back at him, as we saw. So they go again, Charles Leclerc, as Max Verstappen did try to go down the inside into turn 6, but just didn't have enough of an overlap. So Charles Leclerc needs to get on the back of Esteban Ocon, who is trying to overtake Yuki Tsunoda and has been since the start of this race. 23 laps now in this race, as Sainz is now thinking about Sergio Perez. As Verstappen is talking, he was squeezing me onto the white line, not leaving a car's width. Well, I disagree there, as Max had a big wobble in the middle sector. But let's see as we run through the grid right now. Piastri coming unstuck behind, or coming stuck behind Liam Lawson at the moment. He cannot get past the RB driver. A great job from Liam Lawson, but it shows really potentially how much of maybe a setup change or setup issue was for the McLaren drivers, as they're unable to make any overtakes, as Colapinto has had an off through turn 4 as well, I think, and has lost a couple of positions to Ollie Behrman and Lewis Hamilton. And, well, that pack there, they are having some real good fighting at the moment. Behrman, Hamilton, Colapinto, Sainz and Perez. What a pack of drivers there. Of course, Colapinto and Behrman, drivers for the future. Behrman in that Haas next year. Colapinto still yet to be confirmed, of course, with the potential saga of Red Bull and maybe even Carlos Sainz moving to Red Bull still. But Norris now gaining back. He dropped back for a few laps behind George Russell, and he's now on the back of George again. A 23.7 for Lando last time around. So maybe Lando just looked to sit back and cool his tyres before he then goes on the attack. But we know that McLaren does not have the pace in a straight line to get past the Mercedes. He really needs a good exit. He really needs to be under the rear wing of that Mercedes to make an overtake, as Verstappen is still looking at the rear wing of Charles Leclerc. Frustratingly for him, he's made great gains already, up 11 positions into P6 after starting from 17th, but he is coming unstuck behind Charles Leclerc at the moment after a great defence from him. And now we have that pack of those 4 drivers of Yuki, Ocon, Leclerc and Verstappen. Very close proximity, and Piastri also coming unstuck at the moment. Mercedes has a great straight line speed escape. They do indeed. They do indeed. Hey Taco, good to see you, mate. Where have you been? What have you missed? You've missed so much. Verstappen got past Piastri. What's there to complain about, really? Nothing to complain about. Just, yeah, Verstappen got past Piastri, but very, very easily. It was a kind of a weak defence from Piastri. Almost looked like he let him pass. But you can see there, Norris is now gaining a bit on George Russell. So really, Lando needs to be around 6/10, within the 6/10 mark, half a second mark, to really get benefit from the toe from George Russell. As Max Verstappen's got past Charles Leclerc. He's got past Charles Leclerc. They're side by side down into turn 1, is it? Where is Charles Leclerc? I cannot see his marker, and he's in the pits. Apologies. Oh my God, I was looking for his marker. He's in the pits. Charles Leclerc, first driver to pit, as that frees Max Verstappen to go on the attack of Esteban Ocon, and you suspect that Max might make quick work of Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda. But Lando Norris is gaining. I was so focused on Lando and George Russell. Apologies, I didn't see where Leclerc had pitted. And it's a smart pit stop from Ferrari, as he is going to, you see, if it's a good pit exit for Charles Leclerc, it depends on the pit exit. Is he going to come out against... Is he going to come out ahead of Ollie Behrman and Lewis Hamilton? It's going to be very close. No, he's going to come out behind the battle of Lewis Hamilton and Ollie Behrman. And I was thinking that might be a good decision by Ferrari. But it seems, was it a poor pit stop by them? I don't know. Maybe that was the gap they was looking for to try and get him out ahead of Ollie Behrman, as Lewis Hamilton is trying to overtake Behrman right now. And Ferrari, just a little bit. I'm not sure if that was what they was planning for. We will see. But Charles Leclerc is the first driver to pull the trigger on the pit, so we'll see how that plays out for him and if anyone decides to respond. George Russell is holding off Lando Norris right now. Lando's had a couple of laps of attack, but just been unable to really close that gap sufficiently on George. Max Verstappen gaining on Esteban Ocon there as well. We'll see if he's able to dispatch the Alpine driver, unlike Charles Leclerc. Piastri still stuck behind Liam Lawson as it currently stands. He is gaining, but he's not gaining enough down into turn 1. Without the assistance of DRS, the McLarens are just becoming a little bit unstuck. As Norris is saying, box to overtake at some point. No. We can consider it. We'll think about it. As there's a double yellow, Liam Lawson's off. Liam Lawson is off through the first sector, and that has freed Oscar Piastri finally, after he has been stuck behind Liam Lawson for so long. And Liam Lawson, unfortunately, has dropped back down into P9 there. A real shame for him. But Oscar Piastri has been freed, but he's now being overtaken by Pierre Gasly. Oscar Piastri has gone wide. Is that due to damage with contact with Liam Lawson? I'm not sure. But Oscar Piastri, after just gaining a position on Liam Lawson, after being stuck behind him since the race start, has now ended up behind Pierre Gasly. Oh no, he still finds himself in P7. Max Verstappen is gaining on Esteban Ocon. He's actually all over the back of Ocon at the moment, as you can see there on the track map. Their icons are overlaying right there, as Verstappen is all over the rear of Ocon. Of course, these two have history here at this circuit. Down into turn 1, if you remember, with Max was in the lead and Esteban Ocon was trying to unlap himself. No love lost between these two drivers, and it's been a very long time since they've found themselves battling wheel to wheel on a race circuit. So let's see how hard Esteban Ocon will defend this position. As no, Liam Lawson did just go wide at turn 1. It was a mistake of his own doing, and Oscar Piastri then went wide at turn 4 himself after defending from Pierre Gasly. But, well, let's see how Verstappen can get past Esteban Ocon. He has a good drive out of the third corner. Let's see, Esteban Ocon also has the toe of Tsunoda in head, but not as much of a drive as Verstappen, and no doubt he'll try and defend the inside here as Max gets very close under braking and is trying to go for a move and push Esteban Ocon under pressure, as we are starting to see drivers drivers pit now. Colapinto in the pits. Charles Leclerc still stuck behind Hamilton and Behrman, and this has really proved to be a poor pit stop for the Ferrari team, as Charles Leclerc no doubt was hoping to get ahead of Hamilton and Behrman into that clean air, and now he finds himself behind the two drivers. There's a yellow flag. There you go. Hulkenberg is off at turn 1. Could this be a safety car? It's a yellow in turn 1. How has he gone off? Is he just run wide? He is not moving. Is this a crash for the Haas driver of Nico Hulkenberg? We are waiting to see. Could this be a red flag? Could it be similar to Alex Albon? We are yet to see. As Ocon has got past Yuki Tsunoda finally. Ocon has got past Tsunoda into P3. It's still all happening. George Russell is under attack from Lando Norris, half a second behind. 7 tenths back now he is. I'm still waiting to see Hulkenberg. It is absolutely right, tipping it down now. That is why Hulkenberg has gone off. It is very wet conditions right now, and this is what McLaren were talking about. McLaren were talking about, and there's a VSC deployed. A VSC has been deployed for Nico Hulkenberg, and well, it is very much raining right now. If anyone decides to pit now, they will get a cheap pit stop. This could work for Oscar Piastri. Yes, indeed. Oscar Piastri is pitting under the VSC. This will gain him a cheap pit stop, as Max Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda, Ocon, Russell and Norris had gone past that point. And well, who else is going to decide to pit as well? No doubt Behrman will, no doubt Hamilton, no doubt Sainz. And this will gain them around 7.5 seconds in time advantage by pitting under the VSC. As Nico Hulkenberg, the car is beached on the curb, and that will be a safety car. I'm very surprised the safety car has yet to be deployed, as he's beached on the curb. The car is grounded out, and he cannot move the car. So we have a VSC as it currently stands, and well, will Russell and Norris be able to make a pit stop? I'll be surprised if this isn't a safety car restart, as Nico Hulkenberg his car's basically parked on the curb. Once again, another VSC with Nico Hulkenberg, and well, this is maybe a bit controversial right now. Why is the safety car not been called? We will see. Guys, right now, but Sainz, Behrman and Perez all benefiting from that cheap pit stop right now. Hulkenberg cannot move his car. He cannot move its car. All 4 wheels are basically off the ground right now because his car is on a curb. It is beached on a curb, and no doubt Russell... Oh no, the VSC is ending. George Russell and Lando Norris are going to miss this cheap pit stop right now. And no, they are both pitting. I'm very surprised the VSC is ending. And well, has Hulkenberg been able to get his car going again? He has. Hulkenberg has got his car going again. And we have green light. And well, it seems that Piastri has massively benefited there from a cheap pit stop, a 7.5 second pit stop, and Yuki Tsunoda's in the pits as well. Max Verstappen will come out ahead of George Russell and Lando Norris, and well, that top 5 have not benefited from that cheap pit stop under the VSC. How influential is that going to be come the end of this race, guys? We will see. George Russell still ahead of Lando Norris in the pits, but Max Verstappen is now ahead in P2. If there is a safety car now or a red flag, well, that will massively benefit Verstappen. Of course, he's been on the wrong end of the VSC and the red flag earlier on. But how things could change now. So they're both on to a brand new set of intermediates. Interestingly, Tsunoda's coming out on a set of wets, as has Sergio Perez. We'll see how their pace is on the wet compound tyre and whether or not is the right decision. Let's keep an eye out on those lap times. As Charles Leclerc is on the back of Yuki, he will be, and he will have warm tyres compared to the wet tyres of Yuki Tsunoda, and we'll see if he's able to overtake. Of course, it's been difficult to overtake here today. And there's a 10-second time penalty for Oscar Piastri for causing a collision. I think that must have been with Liam Lawson. I failed to see that. All I saw was the tail end of Lawson going through the corner through turn 1, and Oscar Piastri has a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision. Liam Lawson also out on the wets as well. But Max Verstappen is up there in P2. He is... it seems to be very wet right now. Let's see what the lap times are when they cross the start-finish line. How strong is this weather? It's very wet out there. Is it intermediates or is it wet weather tyres? Have the RB cars pulled an absolute blinder here? We will see. Of course, we yet to see them cross the start-finish line to see exactly what these lap times are. The last lap time was under the VSC, and it's a 1:40.8. It is pouring down out there at the moment, guys. It's pouring. The intermediate tyre seems to be the very wrong choice here for these drivers. It's whether or not they think the rain is going to subside, but you would suspect. But the wet compound tyre is the right tyre to be on. Let's keep an eye out on Sergio Perez's lap time, as he is on the wet compound behind Sainz, who is on a brand new intermediates. Let's keep an eye out on Yuki. A 155 for Yuki last time out. So these wet tyres do take a few laps to warm up, guys. If you remember, they do not have tyre blankets on them, unlike the intermediates. Zhou Guanyu is on wets, as is Nico Hulkenberg. We are starting to see drivers who have come into the pits on the wets, and it seems Lando Norris is on the back of George Russell, and Lando Norris has got past George Russell down into turn 4. George Russell struggling in these extreme wet conditions right now, and George Russell has lost a place to Lando Norris. What's happened there? We will see, as Max Verstappen has got past Zhou Guanyu, but these drivers are going considerably slower right now, and there's a safety car. There's a safety car for wet weather conditions, and well, Max Verstappen, who is in P2, is going to benefit from this here, and well, will he pit to the wet compound tyre, or will he pit to another set of intermediates? We will see. It's very tough conditions out there now. Right now, they have neutralised the race as it currently stands due to the poor visibility conditions, and well, we will see what is going to happen with this race direction. But what is Max Verstappen importantly going to do? Is he going to maintain position? Is he going to pit? We will see. 29 laps conducted on that set of intermediate tyres. I suspect he'll probably stay out there because he has track position, but he's still yet to make a pit stop. We will see. We will see. As yes, George Russell did let Lando Norris by. George just going so slowly, and well, Lando was already on the back of Pierre Gasly. So Lando found some grip, but Russell didn't. Wow, we will see. So is Max going to pit? Most likely not, I assume. Maybe, we'll see. Safety car, yeah, so safety car is out there at the moment. Where is it? Where is the safety car right now? Where is the safety car? So Max hasn't pitted. Where is the safety car? It's not out there. I can't see it. Can you see the safety car, guys? Where is the safety car? Esteban Ocon, by the way. Could he, guys? Looking very good in these conditions, even when drivers were suffering there. His last lap was 5 seconds quicker. There it is. Safety car down into turn 5. Esteban Ocon did a lap 5 seconds quicker than Max Verstappen last time out. So Esteban Ocon loves these conditions as he did in qualifying. So do not rule out Esteban Ocon today, guys. If they can gain track position, we've seen how difficult it is to overtake here in these conditions without DRS. And well, that is... it does seem like that this weather will pass. This weather will pass. We will get the race back underway again. But it just seems to be a spell that has come out. So at the moment we have Esteban Ocon in P1, Verstappen in P2, Gasly in P3. We have 2 Alpines in the top 3 yet to make a pit stop. Bearing in mind, Lando Norris is in P4 and George Russell P5. Both have made pit stops. Yuki Tsunoda in P6 also. He's on the wet compound tyre at the moment. Watching a coverage here of Liam Lawson sending it on Lewis Hamilton down into turn 1. Wow, great move there from Liam Lawson. Was he ahead at the apex? Who knows? But he caught Lewis Hamilton napping. Oscar Piastri in Charles Leclerc in P8. Oscar Piastri is in P8. Alonso P9. Lawson P10. As Ocon is informed, the rain is decreasing in 1 to 2 minutes, guys. Lewis Hamilton in P11, Bottas in P12, Sainz in P13, Perez in P14, Behrman 15th, Colapinto 16th, Zhou 17th, Hulkenberg 18th, Albon and Stroll. Hulkenberg noted continuing on track after receiving assistance. Hulkenberg got assistance. Well, I did say he was like beached on the curb, ladies and gentlemen. He had all 4 wheels off the car, which is off the floor, which is why he couldn't get going again. So didn't see him get assistance, but yeah, very strange that he was able to get it going again. Red Bull are cooked if it rains less. We will see. Track limits at turn 2. So that's what happened with George Russell. He went off at turn 2, which is why he was going slowly down the down the back straight there of turn 3 and 4, which is why Lando got past him. But of course, Verstappen, Gasly, and Ocon still yet to make any pit stop. Of course, they are holding out for maybe a red flag, which means they would maintain that track position and they would be able to then freely change tyres and in effect get a free pit stop. And what a flip on its head this race would be. Dramatic thus far. Still 38 laps remaining. We're not even halfway through this race just yet, guys. And what a drama-packed race it has been. But if you're just joining us, welcome. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We are at 9,600 viewers right now. Big thank you. But everyone, oh, Colapinto stopped. What's happening with Colapinto? Colapinto is off. He's just made a pit stop, and Colapinto is off through turn 13 at the moment. Of course, the Williams mechanics, made a very concerted effort to get him back on circuit. He's on a brand new set of intermediates, and it's a red flag, and Max Verstappen has got exactly what he wanted. He has got the red flag. He's going to get a free pit stop, and Lando Norris is going to end up 2 positions behind Max Verstappen on this race restart. Unbelievable scenes here at Interlagos, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, how this race has just flipped on its head. Max Verstappen, who is up 15 positions, will restart this race in P2 and will have a very high possibility of winning this race today. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. Unbelievable scenes, guys. Unbelievable right now. Wow. Red flag. We knew it was going to happen. And Colapinto has properly binned the car. Oh no, Colapinto, he's properly binned it. The car is all battered on the left-hand side and on the rear. And Colapinto, on his outlap, has brought out the red flag. And another Williams driver has assisted Max Verstappen's attempts in a World Drivers' Championship, ladies and gentlemen. As Colapinto in the Williams has crashed through turn 13. He is okay, I believe. Colapinto is moving, and well, this right now is it has a very, very big impact on the Drivers' Championship. Very, very big impact on the Drivers' Championship. Those poor Williams mechanics, they work so hard to get that car back on the grid, and unfortunately, Colapinto has crashed the car in these treacherous conditions right now. And well, we have Esteban Ocon is leading this race, ladies and gentlemen. Esteban Ocon is leading this race in P1. Max Verstappen in P2, Gasly in P3, Norris P4, Russell P5, Leclerc Tsunoda P6, Leclerc P7. We have Piastri in P8, Alonso P9, Lawson 10th, Hamilton 11th, Bottas 12th, Sainz 13th, Perez 14th, Behrman 15th, Zhou 16th, Colapinto 17th, and Hulkenberg 18th. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So yes, if Max Verstappen was to extend his championship lead today, that is pretty much championship over and done with, barring a couple of maybe a DNF for for Max Verstappen in the last few races. Wow, what a race! What a flip on its head circumstance this race has been, guys. It's been a day of drama. I knew it was going to continue, and here we are right now. Whew. Unbelievable, guys. Right, I need to text the missus if she's listening. Give myself a coffee, because it seems like it's going to be a coffee break. Big thank you for everyone tuning in right now, by the way. Just over 9,000 of you here. Big thank you. Please continue. Can we get this stream? Can we get it to 33,000 subs? Can we do that? Surely there's 400 of you in here who are yet to hit that subscribe button. Go on, you know you can do that. You know you can do it. So in a red flag, they changed tyres without losing position. Correct, Escobar. Correct, yes. So you did also say it will be a long one, Stephen. I did say that. I said, you knuckle down. It's going to be a long one, guys. It's going to be a long one. Can I get a coffee, please? And Lando's like, oh, guess everyone can change tyres for free now. Indeed, indeed. Oh, she's feeding baby. Okay, after. So, both him and Bevan should be allowed to have mistakes. Yeah, I don't hold anything against Colapinto here. Look, it's tough conditions, not raced. Colapinto's never raced in these conditions before, guys. So, yeah, it's hard on... It's hard on Colapinto, of course, especially with what happened in qualifying earlier on today. So not a good weekend for the Williams drivers. But, of course, if you're just joining us, guys, Esteban Ocon is in P1. They were the only drivers not yet to make a pit stop. They missed out on the VSC, the advantage of that 7.5 seconds gap to... they missed out on that 7.5 second advantage pitting under the VSC. But they got the ultimate advantage of a red flag. And they were able to gain positions here and freely change tyres and maintain their position. So Lando looks gutted, understandably. He's been well ahead in this race over Max Verstappen, Ocon and Gasly, and now he finds himself behind. But importantly, he finds himself behind his championship rival. And well, we've seen drivers do this throughout the course of this season. Go hang for a red flag, go hang for a safety car, and it hasn't come to fruition. And when it matters most, Max Verstappen, although he's been on the wrong end of a red flag earlier on today, although he's been on the wrong end of a VSC earlier on in the sprint race yesterday, he is on the most important end of this decision right now in the race, where most points are on offer and where it matters most. So, of course, it's not over and done with. We still have 37 laps remaining in this race, guys. Anything can happen, as we've already seen in just 33 laps thus far. Max always gets the luck of the grid when it matters most. But, I mean, look, Max has done a lot of overtaking out there and has got there on merit. He has got there on merit, so... Max is going to crash and Lando will be P1. Anything can still happen. Anything can still happen. Colapinto, first experience of F1 rain conditions. Good learning experience. Of course it is. Of course. I think we had nearly 10,000 viewers earlier, Mike. So, yeah, pretty decent. Is Perez still retaining his seat? Who knows, Grinch? He might lose it. They might promote Liam Lawson right now. Max is driving really well. Yeah, you can't... Oh, yeah. So Liam Lawson's incident with Piastri is a slam dunk penalty for Piastri, which he has rightfully been given. Shame for Liam Lawson there. Piastri came from well far back, nowhere near ahead at the apex. Front right hit Lawson's left rear, sent Lawson into a spin, and then that's most likely why Piastri went off at the next corner as well. So... yeah, poor error there from Piastri. He's not having a good day at the office. I tell you now, I've said it before, worst teammate for Lando Norris. Yes, he did what he did yesterday brilliantly, but look what he did earlier on with Max Verstappen. It was like a non-defense against Max. Didn't even try down into turn one. So I do just want to bring that. But wildest race of the year, Interlagos always provides, guys. Always provides. Always provides. So, should we run another poll while we're waiting for, of course, this red flag to get underway? I hope we don't know how long it's going to be for. Of course, there will be. Hang on. Of course, we will see how long it will take to remove Colapinto's car. So let's run another poll. Who do we think is going to win this race now? Who do we think will win? And I've got a feeling I know who's going to have the most votes, to be honest with you. I mean, don't rule out Esteban Ocon. He's been tough to overtake. He's been tough to overtake, guys. Esteban Ocon, remember Hungary? Remember Hungary in a race similar like this? Esteban Ocon won his one and only race. So he's been very good all weekend. Of course, Ocon, if he's fighting for a race win, he's not going to give that position up easily to Max Verstappen. He doesn't care about what it means for the World Championship. He cares about winning this race. So don't rule out maybe potential incident between those two. And I think let's do, unfortunately, I do think, or maybe Gasly might. You never know. It's been tough to overtake here. I'm doing the top four. There you go. Liam or Yuki should replace Checo. I think so. I think it could be Carlos Sainz. Could be Carlos Sainz. The way it's going at the moment, with the rumours of him maybe potentially heading in there. So can you tell me, miss, we all hire, which brings in the coffee, of course. How many laps can we do on wet tyres? I mean, they could do wets to the end. The thing is, I don't think it's really wet weather conditions right now. Of course, they brought out the safe... Well, it is wet weather conditions, you know what I mean. I'm not sure if it's full wets again, though. So they brought out the safety car for that reason. And then, of course, Colapinto crashed on his outlap while pitting under the safety car, which is what, of course, Max was hoping for. But, yeah, it seems like now it's stopped raining, or it's lighter to rain now. It's not raining as heavy, so maybe it will be an intermediate restart. So, yeah. We thought Max and Red Bull was dumb not to pit under the safety. Well, they didn't. They couldn't pit under the virtual VSC, George, because they ended up. Oh no, George Russell isn't happy. He said, "I effing said it. I should have stayed out." George Russell wasn't happy about pitting. Lando Norris, no doubt, will not be happy about pitting as well. So yeah. We'll see. But yes, sorry, Max went past the pit lane when the VSC came out. So the top 5 missed that opportunity to pit under the VSC. And, well, it worked out for Ocon, Verstappen and Gasly, whereas Norris and Russell then pitted the next lap. So, yeah, 1 lap too early for them, really. or 2 laps too early. Similar to Saudi Arabia, remember? With the red flag there where Lewis Hamilton was in the lead and then Max got the red flag benefit and ended up being in P1. So, give the championship to Verstappen already. I mean, look, if he gains points in the end, so he's lost 3 points already this weekend. However, with the points that are on offer right now, if F1 points per race, always do this. Max would gain 15 points right now, and Max would actually net gain 2 points on Lando this weekend if he finishes where he is right now. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Black flag for Nico Hulkenberg. Oh dear. That's a DQ, isn't it? Nico Hulkenberg's been disqualified. Black flag is disqualification because he received assistance getting back onto the racing surface after being beached. Oh no! Disqualification for Nico Hulkenberg. Oh no. Oh dear. So if you're wondering why that was, Nico Hulkenberg ended... What is this race? Can I just say how crazy this race is right now? We've had a disqualification. We've had Lance Stroll crashing before the outlap. We've had drivers infringing on the race start procedure. We've got a safety car, a red flag, a crash. I mean, penalties are. This is unbelievable right now. This is unbelievable. I mean, it's correct decision. It is the correct decision because you're not able to receive outside assistance. But what the hell? What the hell? That is an exclusive club. It is, yeah. 10 more DNFs and I will sleep so well. Wow. What is going on in this race? Unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable, guys. Nico Hulkenberg hasn't been told, apparently, as well. But yeah, that is a very old rule. That is black and white. And Nico Hulkenberg is... and that's what brought out the VSC initially. So... But wow. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying this stream, big thank you. Continue to hit that like button. Let's get this to like my most liked stream ever, shall we? Which I think is 2,000 likes. Let's see if we can do that. And of course, let's get this to 33,000 subs. Go on, you can do it. Continue to do it. 32,670. Surely there's a few hundred of you in here who yet to hit that subscribe button. Let's do this. When is the restart? We don't know when the restart is yet. We are waiting that. Keep an eye on your top right-hand corner of your screen because that will indicate when there is a race restart. But you can see here, Nico Hulkenberg. Oh, hang on. Nico Hulkenberg, black flag right now. Black flag. So he's been DQ'd. But yeah, keep an eye on the top right-hand on your screen. That will indicate when that is going to be race restart. They will let us know. Turn 1 incident involving Hamilton and Lawson reviewed. No further investigation. So, yeah, I mean, Hulkenberg just went on a proper spin and he, like, beached himself. And, oh, yeah, he got the marshals pushed him back. The marshals pushed him back. There's clear video evidence of it. I'm watching it. They got him back. The marshals are all clapping. But that's a disqualification for Nico Hulkenberg. Serious question. Are we going to see Ocon and Verstappen crashing each other? I tell you what, Likif. Ocon and Verstappen, there is needle between those two. There's history. And Ocon has not found himself in this position very, very often. Maybe once before in Hungary, where he converted it. And he's been very good this weekend in wet conditions. And he is not going to give an inch to Max. I'll tell you now, it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. But guys, if you, as always, do a Q&A video after this race ends. So I want your questions. Go to the community page on my YouTube and you will see a post there. And I want your questions and I will answer them as best as I can, of course. I think there might be a few that we have to answer. It might be my longest Q&A video post-race this season. Because, I mean, we're not even halfway through yet. We're technically not even halfway through. We got 2 more laps until we're halfway through this race. And, like, what more? I mean, there's still so much more that can happen. Still so much more that can happen, so. There is, of course, always the possibility. There we go. Race will resume, guys, at 2 minutes past the hour. 2 minutes past the hour. So that is basically 10 minutes from now, pretty much. 10 minutes from now, guys. So I am going to have just a very, very quick loo break because, as I said, knuckle down, guys. I suggest you do the same. Go have a loo break. Go grab yourself a cup of tea, coffee, beer, whatever it may be, some more snacks, because we have 10 minutes until this crazy race gets back underway. What more do we have in store for us with 37 laps remaining? I tell you now, this is not the finishing positions. What we're seeing right now, there's no way we're going to see this as a boring race to the end right now, and this is going to be the finishing positions. Hell no. There is more to come in this race. More to come. So, we hit 9.5 earlier, CD. We hit 9.6. We nearly hit 10k viewers earlier on. So, really close to 33k subs. Yeah. So, all the restart for the race is car number 31, then car number 1. So, that is Ocon. Yeah. So, basically, as it is, pretty much, as we see right now. So, yeah. Okay. No, really anything. No shockers there in regards to starting order at the end, because everyone was behind the safety car anyway. So, but right, guys, just going to a quick loo break. Suggest you guys do the same, and then of course we have just under 10 minutes until this race gets back underway. I'll tell you what I'll do before I go. We'll do this. How many times have I had to update this thing today? So many, honestly. I've had to do this like 3 times today. The race start. Let's have a look. Race restart. What time is it? What time is it now? It'll be 2:05. 2:05. There we go. There we go. Oh no, hang on, wrong one. There we go. Race restart. That's how long you got to go. Get yourself in order, and then we got this. I'll be back in just literally 2 seconds. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Ooh. What a crazy race. Oh, right, compose yourself. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're all still in tune with what's happening. Just over 5 minutes until this race begins again. 1 minute and 25. Was you counting the pit stop? 1 minute and 25 seconds. I topped up on my water as well. How is the weather? More rain? I think the rain is just consistent right now. I'm still not a fan of the rule to be allowed to change tyres during red flag. Neither am I, Anton, to be honest with you. They do it for safety reasons, but yeah, I'm not overly a fan either. So at the moment, poll update. Who do we think will win the race? 61% unsurprisingly think Verstappen will after starting in 17th. 61%. Ocon 11%. Norris 25%. Gasly 3%. Such little faith in Pierre Gasly, guys. This is why when the safety car red flag occurs, they need to close the pits until the safety car picks up the leader of the race, so an incident on the track doesn't influence the outcome. Yeah. A bit more rain and Max should be able to pass Ocon. Well, I tell you what, it's not going to be easy to pass Ocon. He's been very quick today. It's been difficult to overpass. Charles Leclerc hasn't been able to get past him. He's been quick this weekend. He's good in these conditions, so he's going to fight this hard. So Ocon knows best. He better just move out of the way. We'll see. We'll see. Marshal assistance. He was stuck on a drain and form. Yes, Nico Hulkenberg got marshal assistance. He was able to be pushed back onto the racing circuit. And yeah, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to receive outside assistance. So I think it's fine. Luck has always been a part of the sport. Yeah, it's not manufactured, is it? It's just, I mean, it was a massive gamble to stay out there, and it paid off for them. And it's paid off, unfortunately for Norris, the wrong driver. It's just paid off for the wrong driver. So it could easily have been Norris if he stayed out there longer, but it hasn't. So, but are we going to get a standing restart? That is the question. Will we get a standing restart in these conditions, or will it be under the safety car? The best thing for everyone will be a standing restart, I think, in my opinion. But let's see. We'll find out in a few minutes' time. What happens? I clicked off lap 6. You have a lot to catch up on. Max will dive bomb into turn 1 and Ocon, and we know Ocon will wipe him out. I mean, imagine the scenes. Imagine the scenes. You should be allowed to make changes to the car under red flag, but you should have to serve a drive-through later on. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt this will bring up the discussion of red flag rules once again. It does every single time we have a red flag, and nothing ever changes, and I still don't expect it to change, so we'll see. You need a non-top team podium. I mean, in these conditions, anything can happen. We still have 37 laps remaining in this race, guys. Anything can happen. Look at what's happened in the first few laps. Look at what's happened in just the first few laps. So, yeah. Be sure to continue to hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the stream. If you are, please hit the like button. Hit subscribe as well. So, I know I keep asking, but if you don't ask, you don't get it in the day. There might be another safety car if it's not halfway yet and the weather is still weathering. Exactly. So it's not raining right now from what I can see. It is dry. As in dry as in... hang on. So Verstappen's been told a standing start, but we're not sure yet. We haven't had confirmation of that. Keep an eye on the top right hand of your corner of your screen. You'll get an update on whether or not it will be a standing start or a rolling start. We will find out whether or not if it's going to be under a safety car or if it will be a standing start. Considering there is no rain falling at this moment in time, but it is a wet track, I think we will have a standing start. It's similar to kind of, it's just a bit wetter than what it was earlier on at the start of the race, to be honest with you. Thank you for the subs, guys. Thank you for the subs. Can you see that Stroll interview? Why? I don't know. I haven't seen the Stroll interview, to be fair. Not yet, so... do you think Ferrari will overtake McLaren in the World Championship? Don't know. Oh, why is it a rolling start procedure? Why are you doing this to us? There's no need for a rolling start procedure. No need for it. Unbelievable. I mean, Ocon will be glad for a rolling start. But we'll see. We'll see. Rolling start procedure will resume. Actually, sorry, 14:02. So still, as we can see there, Zhou is going to unlap himself, as he's the only car that had been lapped other than Nico Hulkenberg. So Stuffeyy to win. Thank you, man. What does rolling start mean? It means they will start under the safety car conditions. So basically, it's like a safety car restart. Think of it that way. So they don't line up in their grid slots, and we won't see a dash to the first corner. It'll be Ocon controlling the restart, which will be good for him, but it won't be necessarily... I mean, maybe it'll be good for Norris. I don't know. It doesn't mean really... I mean, with the traction out of turn 12, it might not be good for anyone because they're getting foot down on throttle. Something dramatic could happen. I mean, I think they do that because they don't think... Well, of course, yeah, it's also that. But, I mean, it doesn't look like the conditions are that bad for it to be a standing restart. So... Track clear, here we go. They should not keep pit stops a red flag to keep match for... Yeah, I mean, it's for safety reasons, isn't it? So, yes, they would have changed tyres. So when we see them get out of the pit lane, guys, and make their way round... Hang on. So Norris is told that basically there will be rain for around 10 minutes after the restart, and then nothing after that to the end of the race. So still changing conditions in this race, guys. There could still be another pit stop. There could still be more safety cars, of course, from what we've seen already. We've seen lots of drivers make mistakes. So yeah, we will see. We will see. Yeah, Zhou is unlapping himself, guys. So once he gets back round to the pit lane, we will probably see the drivers make their way out. It is 2 minutes past the hour now, and I assume we will see the drivers, as you can see now on the track map, make their way out of the pit lane. Race start is back underway here, guys. It's going to be a rolling restart. So Esteban Ocon is leading from Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly is in P3. Norris in P4. George Russell in P5. We have Tsunoda in P6. We have Leclerc in P7. Piastri is in P8. Fernando Alonso in P9. Liam Lawson is in P10. Lewis Hamilton in P11. Bottas in 12th. Good race from him thus far at the moment. He's benefited from that red flag. Perez, Sainz is in P13 after starting from the pit lane. Perez in P14. Behrman in 15th. Zhou in 16th. And we have lost from this race Colapinto, who brought out that red flag, crashing through turn 13 on his outlap under the safety car. We've lost Nico Hulkenberg from a disqualification through to receive, because of receiving assistance from the marshals to get back on circuit. We have seen Alex Albon not start this race after his crash in qualifying, and we saw Lance Stroll also not start this race, but start the formation lap and lose control of his car and crash and beach it into turn 4. So let's see what's going to happen on this race restart. We have 37 laps remaining. We have 37 laps remaining, guys. What is going to happen in the remainder of this race? Anything can happen the way it's been going at the moment. Big thank you to everyone tuning back in. I hope you've had your loo breaks. I hope you've stocked up on your snacks and on your tea and coffee, or a beer and a glass of wine, because, or maybe even something stronger, because this race at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me if it needs that, or I may need that after this race is ended. But yes, here we go, guys. Not long to find out who's going to lead down into the first corner. Of course, they all have new tyres on their car. Max Verstappen has a brand new set of intermediates. Gasly has a brand new set. Norris only had used sets available, as did most of the field who qualified in Q3. But unfortunately, Norris and Russell found themselves on the wrong end of a red flag. They pitted just before the safety car came out. And, well, Verstappen, Ocon and Gasly risked staying out there, and they benefited from that red flag brought out by Colapinto. So here we go. Let's see. Will Max Verstappen get the launch on Esteban Ocon down into turn 1? There's a double yellow in turn 13. Is that Ollie Behrman going really slowly? Has Ollie Behrman got an issue through turn 13? Is he coming back on the circuit? Are we going to have an aborted race start again? Oh no, what is going on? Another aborted race start, but the race is underway as Ollie Behrman's got going again. They lead down to the first corner. Esteban Ocon from Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly. Is Lando able to quickly dispatch Pierre Gasly and get on the back of his championship rival Max Verstappen, as Leclerc finally, unlike he was able to do in the first stage of this race, get past Yuki Tsunoda, has done very quickly into the first corner. Max on the back of Ocon, who have already pulled out a gap to Pierre Gasly. McLaren, we saw Lando struggle to even overtake George Russell until the weather conditions really changed. Oscar Piastri on the back of Tsunoda. He really needs to get involved, as Lawson is letting Hamilton by, or maybe not, as he comes back at him down into turn 4. And we saw these two make contact earlier on where there was no penalty deemed to be given. And Piastri has also got past Oscar Piastri. And, well, you can see Russell's got past Norris again down into turn 4. And unfortunately for Norris, there is now 3 positions between him and his championship rival into P2, Max Verstappen, as George Russell, the driver, he was unable to get past in turn 1. Throughout the first half of this race, he's now found himself stuck behind him once again. And this is terrible news for Lando Norris and for Norris fans and for his championship contention right here, as Max Verstappen is going to gain even more points on Lando. He was 2 points net after this race if the standings were as they are. But now with Lando in 5th place, this race has completely flipped on its head. Unbelievable circumstances right now. But Esteban Ocon, after 1 lap on the race restart, is P1, leading from Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly in P3, George Russell in P4, Lando Norris in P5. As yes, Lando Norris went wide into turn 4. It was his own mistake. He was not even under pressure from George Russell, and Lando Norris, making a driver error, is down into P5. We can see Hamilton has made up a position on Fernando Alonso, and maybe we might see a revitalised Lewis Hamilton here in the second half of this race. It was a struggling first half of this race for him, as Sainz also dispatches Valtteri Bottas there into turn 1. Charles Leclerc made a big wobble through the middle sector as well, which allowed Piastri to get very close to him. But we're seeing drivers wobbling all over the place out there at the moment, as Lewis Hamilton does look like to be one of the drivers who has switched his tyres on best out of those in front out there at the moment. Lewis Hamilton on the back of Yuki Tsunoda, and you can see there only Lawson, Behrman, Bottas at the back there are within that 1 second range of the car ahead. Ocon is leading 2.5 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, a 29.3, a 1 second gain last time around for Esteban Ocon on Max Verstappen. And I tell you what, guys, we look at the voting right now, and 61% say Max Verstappen, 11% of you think for Esteban Ocon. And well, the way Esteban Ocon is driving right now in that Alpine, he is going tremendously well with 35 laps remaining. We've just hit the halfway mark in this race. And Ocon is leading 2.7 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen in P2. We'll see what that lap time was as he came across. And it was a 26.9 for Ocon and a 28.0 from Verstappen. And at the moment, Esteban Ocon is around 3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, other than Verstappen and his teammate Pierre Gasly. Ocon is absolutely driving away here at the moment. 3.1 seconds for Esteban Ocon into turn 4 right now. The spray is tremendous out there at the moment, as Lewis Hamilton is on the back of Yuki Tsunoda, and maybe this is what Max Verstappen is just trying to do at the moment, is get back into a visible to try and get some visibility following Esteban Ocon right now. Pierre Gasly in P3 is also 4.2 seconds back from Max. George Russell is 2.8 seconds back. Lando Norris 2 seconds back from the Mercedes driver, and you can see some consistent gaps here at the moment between the drivers due to the visibility concerns. But Lewis Hamilton is closest out there at the moment to the driver ahead of him, half a second back from Yuki Tsunoda, but Ocon leads from Max Verstappen 3.2 seconds. Gasly 4.4 seconds back. We have over 10,000 viewers here, and well, Ollie Behrman has spun again. He spun on the initial outlap here, and has he been able to get the car moving? It's not been a good day for Haas. We've already lost the disqualification with Nico Hulkenberg, and Ollie Behrman, has he crashed? There's still a yellow flag. He's spun in the middle sector already, and he's spun again here, but he's got it going. And Ollie Behrman also racing in these conditions for the first time, and the rookies, unfortunately, Colapinto and Behrman have been left wanting today, and Behrman doesn't bring out a second safety car of today and gets his car moving, and thankfully to Haas, not with the assistance of the marshal, so he will not be getting a black flag unlike his teammate. But last time around again, a 25.7 for Esteban Ocon over Max Verstappen with a 26.5. He's nearly a second quicker per lap at the moment from Esteban Ocon. What are we seeing here? Ocon in his last year in the Alpine, he is ahead of his teammate. It's currently a double Alpine podium, as it was a massive spin for Ollie Behrman. He stops the car just, he hits the barrier just, and his front wing is okay, it seems. A big spin for Ollie Behrman that I'm seeing on the TV coverage right now. But just want to say a thank you for over 10,000 of you here in the stream right now. Please continue to hit that like button and continue to hit the subscribe button as well. You can see we're trying to hit 33k today. If you can hit that, that would be much appreciated. But let's get back to the action right now. Ocon is leading from Max Verstappen 3.4 seconds ahead of the Red Bull driver, who is up 15 positions today. That red flag really assisting him. Of course, he has done a lot of the work on circuit anyway earlier on, and well, this is a great points advantage for Max Verstappen. Of course, he'd love to win. What a historic win it would be for Max. It would be kind of as it was for as historic as maybe Jenson Button when he won in Canada, Montreal. That is how good of a performance this has been in these conditions for Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly is in P3. George Russell P4. He's 1.8 seconds ahead of Lando Norris, but we know how that played out in the first half of this race. Lando caught up to the back of him, but struggled to overtake the Mercedes, who has that quick straight line pace. Charles Leclerc is P6. He's unable to close the gap on Norris at the moment, who seems to have the better of him. 7 tenths 5. And there's a double yellow again. Is that Ollie Ollie Bearman? Is that Ollie Bearman who's gone off again at turn 12? Oh dear, Ollie Bearman is going through the ringer right now, and he's doing very good to keep it on track. But it seems the way Bearman is driving at the moment, the inexperienced driver in these conditions, he seems that he is most likely to bring out another safety car. But the way he is driving at the moment, credit to him where it's due, he is continuing to carry on out there and digging deep. But yes, not a great restart for Ollie Bearman, who is down in 16th place. The two Stake F1 cars are in a land of their own. Carlos Sainz is still in P13, unable to get past Perez ahead, all aboard the Alonso train. Liam Lawson sandwiched between the two veterans who he has riled up recently in the past two races. Sergio Perez behind him, Fernando Alonso ahead. What can happen there? Of course, lots of drama has happened in this race already, but is there more to be had with 31 laps remaining? Esteban Ocon, once again, 24.6. Max slightly quicker that time around, a 24.3 compared to Ocon. That gap down to just 3 seconds rather than the 3.2 it was the lap before. Although Max has just lost a bit of traction out of the first corner, but then regains it through the following corner. You can see that gap now under 3 seconds. So is this Max Verstappen with the visibility slightly improving after these cars being on track for a few laps, clearing the water that is out there, and the surface water that is out there? Visibility will become better, and that is maybe what we are seeing right now from Max Verstappen, as he can see where he's actually driving is starting to close in on Ocon. That gap, 2.7 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that interval time. Lewis Hamilton dropped back to 1.4 seconds behind Yuki now. That sustained pressure has failed for the Mercedes driver. Perez has got past... he's still ahead of Sainz. Sorry, it was Lawson in between Alonso and Perez that I was making comments on. But Ocon, 2.6 seconds ahead, or just ahead of Max Verstappen right now. We'll see if that gap closes. It has definitely closed this lap. A 21.6 from Ocon first lap, a 21.4 Max in the first sector. So 2 tenths gained in that first sector. Middle sector was similar between the two drivers. Of course, these drivers have history. And there's another yellow flag. Who's gone off? Carlos Sainz has gone off through turn 8, and it's a safety car, an instant safety car. Carlos Sainz has lost it into turn 7, turn 8, and he's in the barrier. And Carlos Sainz, for the second time today, has crashed his car, and we have another safety car. Is there a potential of any driver making a free pit stop here? I don't know. It's so soon after we just had the red flag. But what is this race, guys? What is this race? We have lost 5 drivers now from this race in Lance Stroll, Alex Albon, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, and no doubt will be Carlos Sainz. That was a very quick indication of the safety car being brought out there, and I assume that is a big crash for Carlos Sainz. I am waiting to view the TV coverage. They are on board with Carlos Sainz right now. I think it is. No, actually, that's Charles Leclerc. So I'm waiting for the TV coverage to catch up to see exactly the status of Sainz's car. We saw obviously a big crash, and oh wow, he's just lost it under aquaplaning. Carlos Sainz has just lost it under aquaplaning, and he's gone round such an innocuous crash, similar to how it was in the second corner in the Q2 session. And well, Carlos Sainz has broken the right rear suspension. It looks like it was probably too much throttle, front wing damage, right rear suspension damage, rear wing damage. And yes, the reason that was an instant safety car, guys, is because the TV coverage was following Carlos Sainz right at that moment in time, and they no doubt the race control were able to see the extent that Carlos Sainz was no doubt going to be not able to be not be able to continue. Apologies there. So yes, a very innocuous crash again for Carlos Sainz, rounding off what's been a poor Sunday for him. And that is a safety car, definite. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. I hope you guys are enjoying this stream, though. Please continue to hit that like and subscribe button. Over 10,000 viewers in here right now. Hit that subscribe button. That number at the top of, just above my head. Let's get that to 32k. And oh no, he braked on the white line. So it was Sainz braking on the white line. Of course, no grip on this surface, on the painted surface, and that is a driver error from Carlos Sainz. I couldn't see it initially from the overhead camera shot, but Carlos Sainz has just taken his car He's just taken his car too far over, broken on the white line, and yes, incident. Well, I don't know why there's an incident involving Sainz noted. He crashed on his own. But yes, a big crash there for Carlos Sainz, but he's all his own doing and losing that grip on the painted surface, which is a big no-no in these wet conditions. And yes, Carlos Sainz is out of this race, which is why we have another safety car here. Wow. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. 29 laps remaining. I said buckle down, guys, or buckle in, because this race is far from over. Far from over. Of course, it's not a driver at the front of the grid, so it's not as dramatic, but of course it is still a Ferrari. Race winner last week, Carlos Sainz. He was brilliant last week in Mexico, but this time around in these conditions, he has been found left wanting, and that is very important in this Constructors' Championship, because Charles Leclerc currently wedged in between the two McLarens, and well, that's a sizable amount of points for Charles, but of course McLaren will comfortably outscore the Ferrari team today as it currently stands with 3 race weekends remaining. Do I think Alpine will consolidate this win podium? No, I think they're going to go for this win. Esteban Ocon is driving very well, and I think when Max eventually is able to take it to him and catch up to him, I think Ocon is going to fight it as hard as he possibly can, because also he's on his way out at Alpine, so he doesn't really care too much about the car in itself. I don't think he really cares about a podium. He wants a win, Esteban Ocon, and he'll want to go out on a high at Alpine in that regard. So kind of not bin it or win it, but yeah, that kind of attitude I think with Ocon it will be. So hang on. Verstappen being warned, it's a very long way to go. Just be careful and so forth. Just take some water. I am, guys. Don't worry, I'm very lubricated. My voice is very lubricated. I won't be able to do that maths right now, Saber, but I will do that after the race has ended, guys. I will do that after it's ended. All 3 Williams drivers are out. That is technically true as it currently stands, as Sainz will be signing for Williams next year. He could be a Red Bull driver next year if the rumours are to be believed. We will see. We will see. Props to the green tractors for not crashing in the worst cars on the grid. They're doing good. I mean, they're nearly up to the points. They're nearly up to the points at the moment. Safety car in this lap, guys. Safety car in this lap. Do I think the performance Lawson right now will replace Perez? I think he deserves that position, but I mean, who knows who's going to get that second seat at the moment, as I mentioned. Is it Colapinto? Is it Liam Lawson? Is it Carlos Sainz? We don't know. I'm sure we'll find out very soon. But I think we can guarantee, unless Carlos Slim gives them £1 billion, which he probably can do, I think Perez is out of that seat for next year. I think that's a given. But anyway, safety car is in, guys. Welcome to any of you just tuning in and you're new to this channel. Big thank you. Welcome to finding us. Of course, we still have a very long way to go in this race. 28 laps remaining. That is a very long time here at Interlagos, especially today. So if you can, hit that like button. That's 1,600 likes right now. Let's get this to 2,000 likes, shall we? And get this the most liked stream we've ever had. And of course, continue to hit that subscribe button. We'll be back, of course, for the last triple header. We go into a 3-week break after this. Unfortunately, another 3-week break, but we end with a triple header of Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. And who knows, is this do we still have another spanner in the works here in this championship battle? It's already flipped on its head here this weekend. Here, let's see. There is another bound of rain potential for the end of the race. There is going to be more rain that could potentially hit this race circuit before the end of the race. And we know how that has happened before. So, here we go. Another race restart. This is what Esteban Ocon. Can he hold off Max Verstappen for another time? He did it first time around and had a brilliant race start when we got back underway after the red flag. Esteban Ocon leaving it as late as possible here. Of course, you're not allowed to pull alongside the car ahead of you. You have to stay behind. Of course, nice intervals there between all the drivers. But in these conditions, it's very easy to get your foot down and put too much power underneath the car, but it seems Max Verstappen has got a very good start there with Esteban Ocon. Will Esteban Ocon have to go defensive down to the inside, and Max Verstappen's going to try and go round the outside of Esteban Ocon. They're side by side as they head through turn 2, and I think Max has got ahead of Esteban Ocon down into turn 2. They're still side by side. Who's going to come out ahead? And Max Verstappen has got ahead of Esteban Ocon and leads the Brazilian Grand Prix. Esteban Ocon is in P2. Max is up 16 positions, and Lando Norris has lost 2 positions, is down into P7, and this has just gone from bad to worse for Lando Norris right now, as his championship rival, who started in 17th place, is now leading the Brazilian Grand Prix. He has no one ahead of him but clean air, and Lando is now behind his teammate in P7. Unbelievable scenes here right now. Unbelievable scenes in this Brazilian Grand Prix. Still 27 laps remaining in this race. Anything can happen. Lewis Hamilton has just lost a couple of positions there and is down into P12. But Max Verstappen nailed that restart and he took it to Esteban Ocon. And I'm watching the replay now and he lunged down the inside. And I don't know why people leave the room for Max Verstappen on the inside ever. You cover that off because you give an inch for Max Verstappen and he'll take a mile. And Lando Norris went on at the first, and it's a yellow flag again as Fernando Alonso's gone off at turn 12. Is he able to continue? It seems he's going slowly. Has he lost control of the car here? Could we see another safety car restart? He is moving. But Lando Norris went straight on at the first corner, and well, that is why he lost all those track positions. A driver error for Lando, and Max Verstappen is now pulling away from Esteban Ocon, who is in P2. A 1.6 second gap between Esteban Ocon. It is currently a double podium though for Alpine. What a result this would be for those two. Alonso is able to get the car going again, but he is dead last at the moment. It is Max Verstappen from Esteban Ocon from Pierre Gasly. Charles Leclerc is now up into P4. George Russell is in P5. Piastri, who has really not been at the races today, finds himself in P6 ahead of his teammate Lando Norris in P7. Tsunoda and Lawson are in 8th and 9th. Sergio Perez finds himself now in the points finishing positions in P10. Hamilton in P11, where he's feel like Hamilton's been for the majority of this race, to be honest with you. And Behrman is in 12th, Bottas in 13th, Zhou in 14th, and Alonso is in 15th. And what a race this is, guys. Still 26 laps remaining, guys. Still 26 laps remaining. This is unbelievable driving though from Max Verstappen, whether you're a fan or not. You cannot deny what you're seeing here today is something special, and that this is a race for, if he wins this, will go down in history and will most likely cement himself as the World Drivers' Champion for this year. Because you think Lando Norris may gain 20 points this race. Well, Max Verstappen has something else to say about it, and this is what makes him such a good driver, whether you are a fan or not, as now he has a 2.2 second gap. You do think the only way that Max is not going to win this race right now is if there is another safety car, is if there's another red flag, something that gets in the way of Max winning this race. Of course, there is still more heavy rain on its way, so we'll see how much of an effect and how much that plays into this race. But what about the Alpines? They're pulling away from Charles Leclerc, as Charles Leclerc is 2.5 seconds back from Pierre Gasly and is now more looking in his rearview mirrors than he is looking forward, because George Russell and the two McLarens are all over the back of him. Sergio Perez is on the back of Liam Lawson. Of course, no love lost between those two. Lewis Hamilton still in P11. And well, let's see what this race still has in store for us. Fernando Alonso at the back right now in P15 as Max sets the fastest middle sector out of anyone at the moment. 3 tenths faster than Esteban Ocon last time around, and everyone else in traffic is in the 44s. This is going to be Max driving off into the distance now, barring a safety car. And who would have expected that after this morning, after that red flag in qualifying and him starting from 17th? Unbelievable. Lando Norris finds himself in 7th place behind his teammate. No doubt maybe there will be a change of positions later on. Of course, if you are wondering and you want to discuss this race afterwards and listen to a discussion, you can, of course, leave your comments on questions in a community post that I have placed there. I'll be doing a Q&A video, and of course, you can tune into the Missed Apex podcast as well, which will be on after this race this evening. Go check them out on YouTube, as there is an inversion of positions there between Piastri and Lando Norris on down into turn 4. So done a lot sooner than it was in the sprint races. George Russell has got ahead of Charles Leclerc down into turn 4, and now George Russell finds himself in P4, and that Mercedes looks quite good in the hands of George Russell today in these conditions, and he now has his eyes set on Pierre Gasly, as Max Verstappen set a 22.8 last time around. He's going to gain 26 points this race as it currently stands. there is going to be such a considerable amount of points that Max is going to gain on Lando Norris if he wins this race, with Lando finishing in P6. We've seen the McLaren struggle to overtake cars, and we've seen Leclerc there noted for rejoining unsafely, so he went off at turn 4, which is why George Russell was able to overtake him down into turn 6, and because of that, Leclerc is struggling. With 23 laps remaining, it is Verstappen from Esteban Ocon, from Pierre Gasly, who is also up 10 positions. Verstappen, of course, up 16 positions. Russell in P4. He has the fastest last sector there. He is on a charge. Charles Leclerc in P5, under attack from Lando Norris. Can the McLaren finally overtake someone out on circuit on actual merit? Because they've been very slow today in these conditions. Good in qualifying, but not so good in these conditions in race trim. So let's see. He is a lot closer than he has been to anyone for quite some time. Is he able to gain? And he's actually losing time, Lando Norris, as he heads down into turn 4. That is how slow the McLaren is in a straight line. Unbelievably poor decision in regards to setup for the McLaren this today. It worked for them in qualifying, but it has not worked well in race trim. That is for sure. But Charles Leclerc has had a few wobbles here today. He doesn't look that comfortable in the Ferrari. And, well, it's important for, of course, Ferrari in their Constructors' Championship intentions for him to stay ahead of the McLaren, so he's not going to let them by easy. Max Verstappen, though, pulling away as it stands. Look at that, purple sector after purple sector in clean air. He is currently pulling away from Esteban Ocon, 3.5 seconds from Esteban Ocon right now, and Max is about to set another fastest lap, probably in the 22s. Let's see what this is as he crosses the start-finish line, and, well, it is a 22.453, a great lap there from Max Verstappen, ensuring at the moment that he gets the maximum amount of points on offer today. Max absolutely showing who is the boss. He is indeed today. He is indeed. George Russell, though, is on a flyer. He is the second fastest man out there on circuit at the moment, only second to Max Verstappen, and he is catching Gasly at a rate of knots. He was about 6 tenths quicker last time around over Pierre Gasly, and that gap was 4 seconds last time around, and it's already up to 3.2. So Norris going for a move, trying to chase down Charles Leclerc again in the slipstream. And he's just not gaining. That McLaren so slow in a straight line. Unbelievably poor choice in regards to their setup this weekend. I know I've mentioned it the previous lap, but it is really, the McLarens have really found themselves come unstuck. Desperate moves by Piastri on Liam Lawson into turn 1, and that is what happens when you make a poor setup choice in these wet weather conditions. But with 22 laps remaining, Max Verstappen leads 3.8 seconds from Esteban Ocon. Gasly is in P3, 3 seconds back from his teammate. He is just 2.8 seconds but ahead of George Russell, who's chasing him down. Max Verstappen, another fastest middle sector from him. Norris falling back from Charles Leclerc now, 1.4 seconds back from Charles Leclerc. And how is Lando Norris going to end up today not gaining any points on Max Verstappen? Of course, a bit of rub of the green for Max. You have to take it when it comes your way, but some people will feel it's justified after the red flag in qualifying and the VSC in the sprint race yesterday. The fastest last sector for Lando Norris in P6. Piastri is in P7. Update on Tsunoda and Lawson. Well, Tsunoda's actually starting to catch Piastri, it seems. He's lapping pretty similar lap times to him at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that interval. Liam Lawson is holding off Sergio Perez, and we have found drivers really finding it difficult to overtake today unless someone has made a concerted mistake. But Sergio Perez is closer than he has been for quite some time on Liam Lawson, and he just doesn't have enough to make a move. Lewis Hamilton 1 second back from Perez, and he's been in 11th place for the majority of this race, guys. But Max setting fastest lap after fastest lap as it currently stands. We have nearly 20 laps remaining in this race, but there is more rain on the way. Credit to the two Alpines. They are strong in P2 and P3. They are indeed. Perez and Lawson are always racing each other, I know. But it shouldn't be the case. Lawson is in an RB car. Perez is in the Red Bull car. They shouldn't even be seeing themselves alongside each other on the track, let alone Lawson seeing Perez in his rearview mirrors. But hey ho, this is where we find ourselves. Need Perez and Lawson to crash. I mean, there's still stuff that could happen right now. It's still very wet out on circuit, but it is clearly intermediate tyres. The visibility isn't too bad, but more rain is on the way, guys. But if you're enjoying this stream, big thank you for those to keep tuning in. Over 10,000 viewers right now, nearly 11,000. Let's hit that like button and the subscribe button as well. Let's get this channel to over 33,000. Be much appreciated. appreciated. Big thank you. Of course, we still have 3 more races remaining, or 3 more race weekends remaining in this season, but at the moment, Max is in full control. He is 5.5 seconds ahead of Esteban Ocon. The only thing that can get in Max's way now is maybe the weather or a reliability issue that may rear its ugly head. Of course, he changed his ICE unit, the internal combustion engine, for this race, that gave him a 5 grid place penalty. But even that hasn't got in the way of Max Verstappen winning this race today. 16 positions gained thus far. He was a man on a mission at the start of this race, and well, look at him now, just putting in a Verstappen-esque performance. Lando Norris finds himself coming unstuck behind Charles Leclerc, as he has done behind any car he's found himself behind this weekend. Today, and well, he is unable to make any headway on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. We'll be hoping that Charles has an off somewhere that he will gain that position, but it's not enough. Finishing P5 while your championship rival is in P1. George Russell is in P4 at the moment. He has 1.5 seconds. Reviewed. No further investigation for Charles Leclerc rejoining unsafely. But Verstappen, another fastest lap from him. He's just getting quicker and quicker. But we can see where's George Russell updates. I was just bringing that up. A 1.8 second gap between Russell and Pierre Gasly. 22.6 to 23.0 from Gasly. So Russell does have the advantage over Gasly, and Ocon has the advantage over his teammate, who will be at Alpine next year. So really, Alpine would love to see Gasly ahead of Ocon right now, but that is not the case. Regardless, it will still be a great performance for Alpine and Gasly, who will finish in the top 10 for the second race in a row. So good advancements for Alpine, and especially with them moving to a Mercedes engine next year, who knows maybe what they can put together. Piastri seems to be faster than Lando. Yeah, probably Lando's found himself really struggling behind other cars today. The McLaren just doesn't have the setup or straight line speed to overtake the cars ahead. That's why he was struggling against George Russell. Of course, no DRS available in these wet weather conditions, guys. So it is all about car performance and whether or not you have the right setup. George Russell definitely has the right setup. He feels comfortable in this Mercedes in comparison to Lewis Hamilton this weekend, and that's why he found himself on P2 on the front row. Arguably should still be in the chance for a win in this race, but he was fuming at his team, and there's off there for Oscar Piastri, and just as we stated, Oscar Piastri was going quicker than his teammate. He's off, and Yuki Tsunoda can have a run on Oscar Piastri through the last corner here, technically turn 15 on the start-finish straight. They're going to go side-by-side down into the first corner. I don't think Piastri's going to have an answer here. The McLaren and the RB driver are side-by-side down into turn 1. Who's going to come out ahead? Yuki slightly ahead, but they're still side-by-side. We've seen incident here with Piastri before. They're still side-by-side, and Piastri regains the position from Yuki Tsunoda there, but he's still under pressure as they head down into turn 4, and Piastri is made to fight that extremely hard from the RB driver, and well, Yuki is now on the back of Piastri, and we know that McLaren has not been quick in a straight line, so we'll see if Piastri does have the pace in the corners to pull away from Yuki Tsunoda. But side-by-side action there that was all caused by Piastri going off at turn 12, or at least locking up and going very wide, so putting himself under unnecessary pressure, and well, McLaren wouldn't be too impressed with that, and Piastri's performance today has not been good whatsoever. He allowed Max Verstappen to easily get past him earlier on, basically opened the door as wide as possible for him. And then I know he's inverted positions with Lando just then and earlier and yesterday, but he has been well off the pace. As I'm just watching the TV coverage now, and Piastri did defend the inside, and well, Yuki just didn't really have the overlap and the grip to take it round the outside, but good clean racing nonetheless. But Ocon updates, 6.8 seconds behind Max Verstappen right now. Gasly in P3, 1.4 seconds ahead of George Russell. Identical lap times last time around for the Mercedes driver and Pierre Gasly. Max Verstappen, fastest first sector again for him, although Gasly's just taking it away. So Gasly now getting a bit of a move on as he sees, no doubt, the turquoise of the McLaren, or the teal of McLaren in his rearview mirror. As I'm just watching the off track of Oscar Piastri here, and he just had a front left lockup which took him over the curb, and he ran very wide, lucky not to run onto the grass, and he lost around 3 seconds there, Oscar Piastri, due to that off. Sergio Perez still on the back of Liam Lawson, not able to get past, and as we said overtaking's been quite difficult here today due to the nature of not having any DRS and because of just how wet these conditions have been. Of course, it's a new track surface, guys, so because of the new track surface, it has made, obviously, things quite difficult in regards to grip, so that is why maybe we've not seen as much overtaking as we normally do here, but we've seen lots of incidents and, of course, mistakes where overtakes have been possible in that regard. But George Russell is 1.2 seconds behind Pierre Gasly now. He is slightly gaining. He was 2 tenths he gained on Pierre Gasly in that second sector. 22.4 for Gasly, for George Russell, and a 22.5 for Gasly. He's chipping away at that gap as he's heading into the dirty air, and no doubt the lack of visibility, the spray from the Alpine driver ahead. Hang on. As Lando Norris is informed that there will be rain that will arrive for around 4 laps at lap 60. So 6 laps time, guys, we will see more rain. But at the moment, it is not going to affect Max Verstappen because Max has a 7.1 second lead over Esteban Ocon. He's about to take, with 16 laps remaining, maximum points, 26 points on offer in this race, and he's looking like he's going to take all of them. Ocon in P2, Gasly in P3, Russell is in P4, Leclerc in P5, Lando in P6, and that is a massive gap in points between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, and it is not what I think any of us really expected today, that Max would be able to win this race. I wonder what the odds would have been for Max Verstappen winning this race after him starting in P17. You might have earned yourself a pretty penny. But Liam Lawson is in P9, Tsunoda in P8, Piastri is in P7, and it's not been a great day at the office for the McLarens. They're even behind Charles Leclerc as it currently stands. And, well, there needs to be some there needs to be something dramatic to happen here for Lando Norris to really gain any more positions. But this has been a terrible day for the McLaren team. Verstappen 7.7 seconds ahead of Ocon right now. Gasly is in P3. George Russell is not able to gain on Gasly right now. The Alpines are looking for a double podium right now, guys. What a turn of events this will be. Of course, Max Verstappen up there, but Ocon and Gasly, the 2 Alpines, could get a double podium. Imagine that. Imagine that. Today, Max was just a monster. Just fight. Yes, how are Perez and Lawson together again? I have no idea how Lawson and Perez are together again. Perez went for a move last time around, but Lawson defended it well, or saw it coming, as Perez did try to show it. As Perez has gone off through turn 4, and Lewis Hamilton has got past Sergio Perez and finally finds himself in the points. He's spent most of this day and most of this race in P11, Lewis Hamilton, around that position. And with Sergio Perez going off at turn 4, we can see that Lewis Hamilton has moved himself up into the points positions. Of course, not where we expected to see Lewis Hamilton here at Interlagos this weekend, but for a man who has really struggled with this car, he finding himself in the points, up 4 positions in this race, is not a bad result in the end. No doubt, just looking forward to his time coming to an end in this year in Mercedes, and starting pastures anew in the red overalls next year. But George Russell has got that gap down to around 1 second now. There is an incident involving Perez and Lawson noted again through turn 1, and, well, Perez just wasn't close enough to Lawson to make sure he was ahead at the apex, and there was car contact again. Perez and Lawson fighting it out here. Unbelievable. And yes, obviously Hamilton's now in between the two, so Lawson might be happy to see the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton behind him and not Sergio Perez for a few laps at least. Who has the fastest lap at the moment? It is Max Verstappen, guys. It is Max Verstappen. But guys, if you've been liking this stream, please continue to hit that like button, as Lewis Hamilton's gone fastest in the first sector out of anyone. A 20.8 from him while being in the tow of Liam Lawson. So maybe Lewis has found a little bit of grip. But of course, you can see there, Max Verstappen fastest in the second sector there. He is in a league of his own at the moment. An 8.7 second lead over Esteban Ocon. Russell now finds himself within 1 second of Pierre Gasly. We'll see how good that traction is out of the last corner for George Russell. He gained through turn 11 there, got it under 8 tenths, but he loses a bit under traction. But we know that Mercedes is pacey in a straight line. Full throttle all the way, of course, to the braking zone of turn 1. How much can he gain in the slipstream of the Alpine right now? He is gaining quite a bit, but not overly a lot. But he is closer than he has been for quite some time. And we'll see if he's able to maintain that distance all the way through to turn 12 once again, because he's not going to be close enough right now through turn 4. As you see, that gap now goes goes back out to 9/10. But yes, if you've been enjoying this stream, guys, please continue to hit the like button. Nearly 2k likes on the stream right now. And if you can hit the subscribe button, let's get that subscribers up to 33,000 subs just above my head right there. It'd be much appreciated, guys. We do these watch-alongs all the time and, of course, produce F1 content as well. So be sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on to be alerted every single time a video goes live and so that you never miss a live stream. Do I think Lewis will finish P8? I have no idea. As Liam Lawson said, Perez drove into the side of me. We'll see. We'll see. Another fastest lap from Max Verstappen last time around, just getting quicker and quicker. Norris has almost given up, it seems, on fighting Charles Leclerc. 1.4 second, 1.5 second range gap he is behind Charles Leclerc at the moment. Piastri finds himself, of course, just sitting behind his teammate as well. We held off Yuki Tsunoda after that mistake down into turn 4. At the moment, the closest battle on circuit is Lawson, Hamilton and Perez fighting for the last points positions here. And, well, we know love lost is between Lawson and Perez. Russell is closing in on Pierre Gasly, but just not able to get that traction. Being in clean air, it is king. Ocon, comfortable at the moment. 3.5 seconds ahead of his teammates with 12 laps remaining. 9.5 seconds now from Verstappen to Ocon. We haven't seen a gap like this at the front from Verstappen for quite some time. Not since the start of the season. Not since the 4th race of this season where we have seen Max Verstappen win a race by 10 seconds or more. Are we going to see that today? Of course, there is still more rain on the way. Could that put a real spanner in the works and give us some late drama in this race? It really wouldn't surprise me considering how this race has gone on, guys. We have an overtake on track as Alonso and Zhou are going side by side through turn 1 and 2 for P14. Oh, I thought we might see some drama there at the back. That would have been ironic, wouldn't it? But Alonso and Zhou right at the back there bring out the safety car and, well, bring the pack closer together again. Lawson still holding off Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton seems to have found quite a bit of grip, but it is quite difficult to overtake here. Sergio Perez is going for a move on Lewis Hamilton through turn 9. Has Perez got ahead of Hamilton? They're side by side through turn 10, and Perez had to back out of the move there on Lewis Hamilton, as it seems maybe Lewis Hamilton just went a bit wide on the exit or on the entry through turn 9. A very, very slow corner. The slowest corner on this circuit is turn 9, and it seems Lewis Hamilton just went a bit slow. Lost a bit of traction there, and then importantly for him, it's put him a little bit further back from Liam Lawson. Ethan, thank you for becoming a member of the pit crew, buddy. Much, much appreciated. And 199 from Richard Sue. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. And yes, just I appreciate all the support you guys show me consistently on these streams. So Lawson and Perez turn 2 incident has been noted again. This is a separate incident, guys. A separate incident right now. Perez needs to stay put. He will cause a safety car. If not, behave. Imagine he's the one who brings out a safety car and this late drama, as Max has got that gap out to 10.3 seconds right now. But yes, the gap is closest at the moment between George Russell and Gasly and, well, Hamilton, Lawson and Perez. Reviewed. No further investigation between Perez and Liam Lawson as it currently stands. We are about to cross the start-finish line for Max Verstappen. We have 10 laps remaining, ladies and gentlemen. Will Max Verstappen win this race? It looks like he is going to. He has 10.6 seconds ahead of him. Who knows what will happen in the remainder of this race? Ocon is on course for a P2. Gasly is trying hard to fight off George Russell to make it a double Alpine podium. Yes, you heard that correctly. A double Alpine podium. Leclerc in P5. Lando Norris has no response. He's fallen back. He's admitted defeat. He is in P6, 2.1 seconds back. Piastri, 2 seconds back in P7. Tsunoda P8, Lawson P9, Hamilton P10. Of course, Hamilton is close to Lawson. He's been trying to show the nose recently. He has a run here, Lewis Hamilton. Can he make a move on Liam Lawson down into turn 1? Liam Lawson's been defending valiantly against Sergio Perez through that corner, and Lawson stays ahead. Of course, Hamilton needs to be careful as well because he has Sergio Perez waiting to capitalise on any mistake here, but Hamilton has a run out of turn 3 down into turn 4. Does he have enough overlap though in that Mercedes to get past Liam Lawson? No, he doesn't, but Liam Lawson is defending valiantly against Hamilton, a veteran, another veteran of Sergio Perez. It wouldn't surprise me. Can Lewis Hamilton make it 3 for 3 in 3 races in his return to F1 where he gets under the skin of another veteran? That would be the three most veterans on the grid that he would get under the skin of in 3 races. But at the moment, he seems to be treating Hamilton with a bit of respect. Of course, Liam Lawson hasn't personally done anything wrong, in my opinion, in those 2 previous races to Alonso and Perez. But we will see. I think Lawson's doing a tremendous job at the moment, as is Yuki Tsunoda as well. Yuki looks to be getting a P8. A bit of a shame for him, but of course he pitted when he did, and unfortunately wasn't a benefit of that red flag, just like Lando and George Russell. Ollie spun twice in his P12. There are 2 Alpines on the podium. Are you tripping? No, you're not. You are not tripping. This is just a typical race at Interlagos, ladies and gentlemen, when it rains. Brilliant race today, guys. This is F1 as chaotic as it can get. Unbelievable right now. I do wonder where the cries of Verstappen versus the FIA will come from, because he did benefit from the red flag. Look, sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it goes against you, and this time around it has gone for him. But he has driven unbelievably well today, made up like 6 or 7 positions on the first lap, and then just really hasn't looked back since. Of course, 12.1 seconds back from ahead of Esteban Ocon right now. Pierre Gasly still holding off George Russell. It's so difficult to overtake here today without the assistance of DRS. So really, in these cars, we still do need DRS, because this is an indication of what type of racing we would get if DRS wasn't available. Rain is a great equaliser, and Max has showed why he's a great driver. Yes. Hey, over 33k subs, much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Nearly 2k likes as well. Big thank you for the subs and the donations coming in. Also, over 11,000 of you here in the stream. Nearly a PB of viewership. So big thank you as always. And, well, if you want to see more content, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back, of course, in a few weeks' time for the Vegas Grand Prix. Another triple header to end the season. And it looks like, while mathematically, I think the championship will still be available for Lando Norris to win, it has most definitely been wrestled away from him today, and with 3 races remaining, it is most definitely out of his control, as Max he'll have to rely on DNFs from he'll have to rely on DNFs from Max Verstappen, which is just not happening. Another fastest lap about to be seen here by Max Verstappen. He's going to get full 26 points. We will check the championship standings after this to see what the gap exactly is. As Norris is told, we want you to get close to Leclerc because Piastri has a 10-second time penalty. And Lando asks, what do you think I'm trying to do? So yes, that McLaren has been found wanting here today. Poor setup choices from them, as Lando now finds himself 2.8, nearly 3 seconds back from Charles Leclerc. Checo Perez is not doing very well. He's fallen. He's still stuck behind Lewis Hamilton at the moment. He's outside the points. But yes, the fact of it, he is in a battle with Liam Lawson, the RB driver, is telling, very telling, isn't it? Liam Lawson should not even see Sergio Perez out on circuit, because Sir Perez should be up there fighting for podiums, or at minimum fighting with George Russell, Leclerc, Norris and Piastri right now, but he's not. Pierre Gasly, update on him. He is still holding off George Russell. He is keeping him at bay within that 7 tenths to 1 second range, and George just cannot gain in these wet conditions, just cannot get the traction that is required to really get a run on the Alpine driver. Thank you for the $4.99, Richard, much appreciated. Thank you. Second worst team on the grid is now on positions like they are fighting for the championship. Ollie Behrman, by the way, up into P12. I mean, he's had a very topsy-turvy race, and he's close to getting involved in this battle with Sergio Perez, Hamilton and Lawson. But we have 6 laps remaining as Max Verstappen is about to cross the line. And, well, he is 14 seconds ahead of Esteban Ocon right now. This is a drive that will go down in the history books. It's akin to Lewis Hamilton's drive in Turkey. It's akin to Jenson Button's drive in Montreal all those years ago. It is a wet weather drive that will be remembered for a very, very long time, and is most likely going to be a drive that will secure him his 4th world title. Unbelievable scenes we are seeing here today at Interlagos in the Brazil GP. What a circuit, what a weekend we have had. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well, but we still have 5 laps remaining after this. Anything can still happen. Don't rule anything out. But Esteban Ocon 14 seconds. He is 3.5 seconds ahead of his teammate. It looks like it's going to be a podium for Esteban Ocon. Gasly, can Russell really put some pressure late on in this race to secure that podium position? Lando Norris unable to gain on Charles Leclerc, and Piastri is falling away as well. Yuki Tsunoda is in P8. He is 6 seconds ahead of his teammate Liam Lawson. Hamilton coming unstuck behind Lawson at the moment. He's doing a very good job to get points. What a great return to F1 it will be for Liam Lawson. Of course, Mexico wasn't too great for the RB team. They were a bit off the pace, but points in Circuit of the Americas, points here will be a great return for Liam Lawson, definitely stamping down a claim for maybe a replacement of Sergio Perez and that Red Bull seat, or a minimum of seats for next year in that RB car. As Sergio Perez is in P11 and is at risk, as we all know, as he has been for the majority of this season, of losing his seat. And performances like this are really testing the patience of Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. I don't think there's any summer money now that will really secure Sergio Perez's seat for next season. Ollie Behrman, a great return from him. Of course, it's been a bit of an up and down performance from him today with a few spins. First time he and Colapinto have raced in these sort of conditions, so understandable. It's a big learning curve for them, but he is still out there. At least he hasn't been DQ'd, unlike his teammate in P18. But Max Verstappen, he's getting quicker and quicker at the moment. 15 seconds now. George Russell looks like he might have just run out a bit of steam. 1.1 seconds back from Pierre Gasly. The closest gap out on circuit right now is Hamilton to Lawson and Perez to Hamilton. And I don't know if we're going to see much more action between now and the end of the race, with only 4 laps remaining after this, as Max Verstappen finds his way round turn 12 this time around. Max is the deserved winner if he finishes the race, of course. Max, what a driver, but all his hate, if he moves from Red Bull, he will get love by anyone like Seb Vettel. Maybe, yeah, maybe. But look, whether you like the man, whether you're a fan, whether you're not a fan, you cannot deny what you're seeing right here as a tremendous drive. You cannot deny it. And yeah, we have to respect a great performance when you see it, and that's what we're seeing right now. Yes, there was a lot of assistance in regards to the red flag. However, you have to realise Max was in P5 at the time the Norris and George Russell decided to pit. And, well, he started in P17, so we'd already made up 12 positions by that point anyway, with the majority of them out on circuit because Albon had not started the race, Lance Stroll hadn't, but that's still 10 positions he's made pretty much out on circuit by that point. So, yeah, a great drive from him. But Hamilton seems to be a bit closer this time around as they're heading down into turn 1. Can Hamilton make a move in the late stages of this race on Liam Lawson? He can't, it seems. Or maybe he can. He's going around Liam Lawson. He's gone for a move. And Liam Lawson still holds on to the position of Lewis Hamilton. He went for it. And now that's going to leave Hamilton vulnerable to Sergio Perez. That's the issue of going on the attack, because you then become the defender. As Sergio Perez has got the run on the Mercedes driver, and no, Perez just backs out down into turn 4. He can't get the overlap on Lewis Hamilton. And, well, this is for 1 point in the Constructors' Championship, of course, and Sergio Perez cannot get the move done on Lewis Hamilton there. But Lawson defending very well in the latter stages of this race. A great drive this will be for him. A double points for RB, and it will be double points over Haas in the Constructors' Championship. Of course, Haas have been on a brilliant run of form of recent, but RB are going to score double points here as it currently stands, with Behrman in P12 and Hulkenberg DQ'd from this race. Of course, we'll have a look at all the permutations of the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship once this race has finished, and to see what lies ahead of us with 3 races remaining and what is on offer. But Max Verstappen, 3 laps remaining as it currently stands. 2 laps after this will be on the penultimate lap after this race. He is 17 seconds ahead of Esteban Ocon. But what a story it also is for Esteban Ocon and Gasly in the Alpine team. Esteban Ocon woke up this morning, and I wonder if he thought I could get the podium today, because he has been on it from Q1. That first lap in Q1, he has looked very confident in these conditions. As Alonso is stating, I will finish the race for the mechanics. They did a very good job today, but my back is hurting. The bouncing is not normal. So, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, the 2 oldest drivers on the circuit, complaining about their back right now. We've seen a return of porpoising for Aston Martin and Mercedes. Coincidentally, the teams that both share a wind tunnel. So, is there a correlation there? We will have to look into. But it could be. With only 2 laps remaining for Max Verstappen, we're on the penultimate lap. It's been a long time since we've heard the Dutch national anthem, and well, we're about to no doubt hear it very soon. Esteban Ocon, as I was saying, he has been on it from the get-go in Q1, and it looks like he's going to go and finish on the podium today with his teammate Pierre Gasly, a double French podium. Who would have expected that? Of course, 2 beneficiaries also of the red flag, but Esteban Ocon still did start P4 today, so it's been a good drive from him nonetheless. George Russell just cannot have an attack on Pierre Gasly. It looks like Lewis Hamilton's going to have to go defensive on Sergio Perez maybe as they head down into turn 1. And no, he holds off Perez. He just doesn't have enough. We are only a couple of corners away until we are on this final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Please continue to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Thank you for getting this channel to over 33,000 subs. If you're enjoying this commentary, of course, stick around for our post-race chat as well, which we always do. We don't just sign off once the race has ended. If there's any questions that you want to ask, stick around. We'll see what the drivers have to comment as well. But Max Verstappen is on the final lap, guys. It has been a very long day. The race started at 3:30, well, just after 3:30. It is nearly 2.5 hours later after a VSC, a safety car, a red flag, aborted race starts. And Max Verstappen is about to cement himself in history with this race. He already has done with 3 championship titles. He is on course to secure a 4th, because who thought at the start of today, after the trials and tribulations in qualifying of not making it through to Q3, of being on the wrong end of a red flag, he found himself in P17. He now then found himself on the right end of a red flag, and he is now winning this race in true Verstappen style, 19 seconds ahead of Esteban Ocon. He's going to maximise all the points on offer here. He is going to extend his championship lead by 23 points because Lando Norris got 3 points in the sprint race, and there's one more corner exit for Max Verstappen. It's full throttle to the finish line, and this is Max Verstappen in true style across the finish line. Max Verstappen from 17th position is your winner of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Whether you are a fan or not, he is a bit like Marmite, but you have to stand up and respect that drive, that result. Unbloody believable from Max Verstappen and Red Bull. Esteban Ocon in P2, and it's a P3 from Pierre Gasly, a double Alpine podium. What a result we have seen here today. Charles Leclerc comes across the line in P5 with George Russell in P4, Lando Norris in P6. He has lost a considerable amount of points in the championship standings, which we will look at after this race has just ended. We still have drivers fighting it to the finish line, because Yuki Tsunoda comes across in P7. He gets ahead of Piastri with that 10-second time penalty, and Hamilton and Lawson have a dash to the finish line here. Can Hamilton get past him? No! And Liam Lawson secures another 9th finish position for himself, a second 9th finish position for him in the matter of 3 weeks. A great return to F1 for the New Zealander. Lewis Hamilton in P10, not the race weekend he wanted. Sergio Perez outside of the points once again. And Behrman finishes in P12, Bottas in 13th, Alonso 14th, and Zhou in 15th. But wow, thank you guys for tuning in to this F1 watch along. Thank you for Hung Slow for the $10. Much appreciated. If you've been enjoying this commentary, if you've enjoyed this stream, please hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back, of course, in a few weeks' time for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. But Max Verstappen has won from 17th position. Unbloody believable. Unbloody believable. We are going to hear the Dutch national anthem for the first time in many races since all the way back in apologies, when did Max last win a race? It's been that long ago since Max last won a race. I think it was Spain. Last time we heard the Dutch national anthem was all the way back in June in Spain, in Barcelona. That is a long time. That is a long time. But that right there, yes, he was fortunate with the red flag. But what a drive that was from Max Verstappen out on circuit. I don't really think there's worth doing a drive of the day poll, but I'm going to do it just for the gigs. just for the gigs. But Lando Norris is probably crying into his helmet right now. What a poor day it is for him. It needs a DNF from Max Verstappen, but that right there, no doubt, has secured his 4th world title. Let's have a look at... I'm intrigued to see who you guys think. Of course, a great drive from Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly also. What a drive from those two. Liam Lawson also. Yuki Tsunoda is valiant in there as well. But I've got a funny feeling who this driver of the day poll is going to be. But Esteban, what a drive from the 2 Alpine drivers. What a drive. What a drive, guys. Ooh, what a race. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Breathe. Oh, big thank you, guys. Big thank you. Hit that like and subscribe button, please. Over 2,200 likes as well. Big thank you. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the memberships. And yes, wow. What I did not... Did you think we would see that result today? Do you think we would see that result today? Thank you, Cora. Thank you, Siska. Much appreciated. We hit over 33,000 subs. We smashed that. Big thank you. We are well on the way to making this a full-time career. That is for sure. That is just a drive that will go down in history, ladies and gentlemen. That will go down in history. You have to... If I could stand up, I'm going to sit up in my chair and applaud. Because if I stand up, you won't see me. But yes... sit up in your chair and you have to applaud that. Whatever your thoughts and opinions are on Max Verstappen, on Red Bull, you have to applaud that drive. That was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you, Foster. Thank you, Cinematic. Much appreciated. It was a masterclass drive, and Lando will be kicking himself. So let's have a quick look at the championship predictions or standings. We will see what this says here. I think this has now been updated. It has indeed been updated. So you can see there that Max Verstappen, 26 points, Lando got 8, and that gap has now gone out to, is that 60 points? That's 62 points now. 62 points. 393 take away 331 equals 62 divided by 3. Lando needs 21 points on average over Max Verstappen in the last 3 race weekends. You need a DNF. You need 2 DNFs. It is not happening now. That is championship over and done with. Max Verstappen, what a way to pretty much secure it. It's not mathematically unfeasible at the moment, but that right there, what a drive. What a drive. What an absolute drive. Sorry, let me bring that back down. We can see that the Constructors' Championship standings. You can see that gap, only 12 points for McLaren there and only 10 points for Ferrari. So the Constructors' Championship is still on the cards, guys. So that 593, take away 557. While over the course of this weekend, Ferrari have lost points to McLaren due to the sprint race performance. It is still only a 36-point gap in the Constructors between Ferrari and McLaren. Of course, still don't rule out Red Bull, but Red Bull are a little bit further back with 593 take away 554. 544 is that's wrong, isn't it? 593 take away 544 is 49 points. So the Constructors is still on, guys. The Constructors is still on. I'm a Hamilton stand saying well done to Max. It's an unbelievable drive. Unbelievable drive. Big thank you, Jassem, for the 17.99. Much appreciated. Thank you. Lando needs to fix his launches. He lost positions in every single race restart. What was that? At this point, I think it might be procedure or car issue. Well, it has been a little bit throughout the course of the season, but also fundamentally, McLaren made an error with their setup choice. They run too much downforce on their car, and they lost too much time in the straights. Lando was not able to get past George Russell at all, whereas George Russell was he was pulling away in the straights. You shouldn't see that. There should be a point where you're within a second, but the car behind, with the slipstream, even in wet weather conditions, is able to drive up to the back of the car ahead, or at least gain, and they didn't do that, and they just didn't do that. So Piastri struggled as well. McLaren dropped the ball in their setup, and yes, that is Drivers' Championship done, basically. Never say never. There could still be a late DNF, but ultimately with 3 race weekends remaining, an average of 20 points or over 20 points needed. I think it's 20.3. I saw 20.6. Then yeah, it's out of your control. It's out of your control. So Max is going to make VFA going to make Max do community service for this performance. Max must have serious back pain at this point from how heavily he's carrying Red Bull. I know. Imagine Red Bull putting Lawson in Red Bull to winning constructors. Oh, imagine. Next time Lando fan, Max 3 times world champion for a reason. Yeah. Did Piastri take that 10-second penalty? He did, so that's why Tsunoda has finished ahead of Piastri. So you can see there that Piastri finished P8, Tsunoda finished P7. So a good result for Tsunoda in the end there. Both McLaren and Lando dropped the ball. Yeah, you can't. I mean, it just look. Lando could quite easily have stayed out, and George Russell, and they both could have benefited from that red flag in the end. But at the end of the day, they didn't. But Max Verstappen, I'm so surprised Esteban Ocon left. I mean, Esteban Ocon left the door wide open for Max to go down the inside at turn 1, and Oscar Piastri did as well. Wait until you see Oscar Piastri's defense on Max Verstappen. That is definitely a teammate who does not want Lando to win the championship. I tell you what, I tell you that now. Focus on the constructors for McLaren now. It is indeed, yes, it is indeed, because they haven't won that championship since 1998. 26 years. So that is a very long time for them. I think that's always been their focus. And yeah, just today's race just kind of shows you know what, it's not my year. So Max Frando's fastest laps in the end was just peak final boss stuff. It was indeed. So unsurprisingly, Max Verstappen has 83% of the vote for driver of the day. Unsurprisingly. I'm going to end that now. I'm good because look, we all know Max has won driver of the day. Fair enough. I want to hear what you guys think about, what would you rate this race out of 10? Hang on, so 5 to 6, 7 to 8. Hang on. Actually, I'm going to go 7 to 9, and I'm going to go a big fat 10 at the end, because I've got a feeling a number of you are going to vote 10. There you go. But by the way, credit has to go to Esteban Ocon as well. If Max Verstappen didn't win this race, I think you could say Esteban Ocon driver of the day. That was an unbelievable drive from both the Alpine drivers. But Ocon, I mean, his whole performance today has been brilliant. Thank you, Flex. Thank you. Radio, probably not. No, I've mentioned this before. I just don't feel like there's enough of it on enough space on screen for what I want to show to add radio into it. So apologies, man. Max, the only champion I hear the Brits all crying. Look, I'm a Brit and I'm standing up applauding. That was an unbelievable race. Unbelievable. What risk is there putting Yuki in the second Red Bull? Perez. I think anyone would do a better job than Perez, to be honest with you. 71% of you think 10 out of 10. I have to... do I agree? Yeah, I do agree. I mean, that's kind of everything that you want from an F1 race. I think the only thing I would say is that it was difficult to overtake, if I'm really nitpicking. But for me, that was drama. That was exciting. That's like peak F1 right there. Oh, yes. So, apologies. It could get even worse for Lando Norris because he is still being investigated for that race start infringement. So Lando could get an additional penalty. Now, what that would be, I don't know. Look, he finished 10 seconds ahead of Yuki anyway, so even if it's a 10-second time penalty, it might not. I assume if they do deem it a infringement of the race start procedure, they might give him a grid place penalty for next race. I can't imagine them penalising him now because there's also no precedent for any penalty for breaching that procedure. So, yeah. It could be one of those where he gets away with it and then they implement a penalty for that scenario in the future. So, don't ever ask Piastri to give his position to Norris again. And if it's going to have a field day with this championship plot twist, yeah. I mean, hopefully they edit it correctly. Hopefully it'll be good. But yeah, what a day. This whole weekend. You could have a whole... I'm happy for there to be a whole half a season on this weekend alone. Each day should be its own individual episode. Like, how great has this whole weekend been? So, can we see the sector times? Of course you can. Yeah, let me grab them up. Where's that gone? There we go. Sector times here. Well, unsurprisingly, Max Verstappen P1 across the board in those sector times. Esteban Ocon P2, Norris P2 in the second sector. I mean, this is the thing, right? So they were quick through the second and third sector, basically, because of the downforce that they had. But the McLarens just lost speed when it matters. So they lost that speed down the tail end of the main straight into turn 1. And then, of course, they need that pace down into turn 4. And they just lost it, hence why they were 5th and 7th. So, yeah, they struggled. Max should tow Perez in next race. In my opinion, do I think Oscar would be a world champion contender to Norris in the future? Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Piastri couldn't overtake Lawson cleanly. No point on holding Norris. He also had free position. Yeah, so I still stand by. Piastri has been, and people will have a go at me because of what he did yesterday, but Piastri has been a poor teammate to Lando Norris this season. Now, I know, obviously, Lando should have done more, and he could have done more to help himself in this championship battle, but Piastri has not helped him really at all. He's either not been there to put himself in between Lando and Max when it matters, and he also has taken points off of Lando. And today, wait until you see the defense. I mean, he ushered Max through. To turn 1. I'm so surprised he left the door wide open for him. It was unbelievable. And that's not a teammate who's fighting your corner, that's for sure. So in the rain, the cars look equal. Look who's around 1 second faster. Yeah, I mean, also, clean air is king as well. I think you saw drivers. I mean, look at George Russell. So he had a lot of clean air when he... George Russell was actually lapping the same pace as Max when he was in clean air until he caught up to Pierre Gasly, where he then became unstuck. So these cars are still very... I've said it before. The dirty air in these cars is very prevalent right now. And while we do have some kind of good racing, it also holds the race. We are at the stage of these regulations where it's holding the racing back to an extent. And we saw that today without the assistance of DRS. We kind of needed DRS today for there to be some overtakes because the drivers really found it difficult to get down on the power in these wet conditions with the dirty air out of turn 12. So that's why it's a 10, yeah. Any opinions on the return of Daniel to Red Bull? I mean, there's talks about maybe he might have a last hurrah at Abu Dhabi, but no, he's out of the system now. He's out of that system, so... yeah, pastry is crazy. Don't agree, divers drive to win stuff, team orders. I get it, but when you're out of the team, when you're out of any world championship fight, and especially when every point matters in the constructors as well, he just opens the door to Max. I mean, it's not very good. If I was McLaren, I would be having a go at Piastri about that and going, why did you not hold Verstappen up more? I can't imagine Lando's going to be too pleased about it when he sees it as well. But of course, look, the qualifying went against Max, but the race went for him. So he did a lot of it out on circuit, but then the red flag was the true turning point for him because then all he had was an Alpine in front of him, not a Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, not a Lando Norris, not a George Russell, who would have been more difficult to overtake. So, I said it before, the rain determines the good and the bad. Exactly, yeah. And let's hope the next triple header will be nothing but wet weather races. Well, I don't think it's going to be wet weather in Vegas somehow, because our next few races are Vegas. Oh my God, it's an early morning one, isn't it? Qualifying 6 a.m. UK time, and the race is 6 a.m. UK time as well. So we go Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi to end the season. Technically speaking, mathematically, Lando can still win the championship, but he needs a max DNF. He needs 2 max DNFs, really, to be honest with you. So Max couldn't have done much to hold Verstappen. He could have done. He could have just parked it on the inside, really. Max did come from a little bit far back, but it was... Piastri didn't even look like he was turning it into the corner. He just knew Max was there, but Max was coming and just let him go by. So, but yeah, Max was going very well. Max did need the red flag. I disagree, Theo. So while I'm not taking anything away from Max, brilliant drive, unbelievable. But he got caught once he caught Leclerc. he got stuck. He got stuck behind Charles Leclerc. So I think maybe at that point, maybe the tyres weren't great again. But once he got up to kind of a car that was of a similar pace level to him, Charles Leclerc, he did come a little bit unstuck. And then, of course, he stayed out, banked on the red flag. Why wouldn't you? And it's played out perfectly for him. So, but yeah, 2 Alpines, 2 French drivers on the grid, on the podium. Max Verstappen up there. He's done what he needed to do, and that for me is his 4th World Drivers' Championship. He's 4th in a row, same as Sebastian Vettel. So, F in the chat for Lando fans. Yeah, Dutch anthem after a long time. Yes, it's been since June since the last time we saw it, guys. Since the last time we heard it, sorry. So I'm still trying to discount the win. If someone else would have won, it would have been... Look, I'm not discounting the win. I think it was a great win, and you have to stand up and applaud that. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It will go down in history, that win. It will be remembered like Jenson Button was in Montreal all those years ago. It'll be a race that is... You know how Lewis Hamilton's race in 2021, it'll be remembered in that same guise. Every single time that we come back to Interlagos for many years to come, this race will be mentioned, just like Jenson Button's is every single time we head back to Montreal. So Esteban Ocon forgot to take his hat off, 10-second penalty. But the way FIA are going, they'll penalise him for that. he'll get community service for that. What do I think will happen to Lando, George, Yuki, Esteban for the start? 5-second penalty. Also, I don't know. I think if anything, I think Lando Norris will get the penalty. I actually don't think I think they might not give anyone a penalty. I think they might go, okay, slap on the wrists. And because there isn't anything in the regulations that actually dictate what penalty should be given, it's unprecedented. We've never seen this in F1 before. I think they'll end up letting them off of it, and then they'll clarify it in the regulations. If this happens again, it's worth a 5-place grid penalty. It's worth a set X times second penalty, you know? So, second time penalty. Yeah, I agree, Annan. I do agree with that. Max is worthy of World Drivers' Championship, and McLaren are worthy of Constructors. I mean, you can't deny Max has been the most consistent driver, of course, the duration of the year, and that's his 8th win, and he's got 5 more wins than everyone else on the grid. Lando arguably should have 3. I mean, arguably Lando should have 3 more wins as well. And I think McLaren and Lando need to look at themselves. I think McLaren probably more so than Lando, to be honest with you. I think McLaren maybe haven't helped with the whole scenario, and maybe they've had their eyes set too much on the constructors more rather than supporting Lando in the World Drivers' Championship. Of course, that's not to say that there isn't a lot of fault to lay with Norris, but also, I mean, McLaren aren't winners, are they? They aren't winners. It's the first time they've been in this position since 1998 with the constructors, and first time they've been in really 2007, because Lewis Hamilton and Alonso, of course, but since 2008, so forth. It's been a very long time. That team is very different to what it is back then. So, choose the one who is. The podium flags are just each other but turned around. I know. I was about to say that as well. Same colours, isn't it? Or is France red? Is that is France red, white, and blue, or is it orange, white, and blue? It definitely looks the same as the Dutch colour. So, see you lost. Gasly beating Norris, I know. Even if Max retires in 2 races and 1 sprint, he will be 2 points ahead if Norris gets maximum nose. Yeah, he needs 2 DNFs, really, doesn't he? Or two out of the points finishes. But yeah, the Drivers' Championship, that's it now, really. That is it, I think, in my opinion. So, you need a fat nap, Taco. I don't blame you. But by the way, guys, big thank you to those of you who continue to like this stream and subscribed. We've got, 33,170 subs. Unbelievable. I don't know how many that is that we've gained today, but big thank you as always. And 2,343 likes. As always, guys, I want your questions. So if you go to my community page, let's go to it. Just go there now. How many questions have I got? I've got 11 questions already. If you go to the community page, you can see here. Let's get rid of the track map. You can. I want your questions. So I've already got 11 questions. It can be about the race. It can be about the sprint, the qualifying as well, VSC, red flags, etc. I will do my best to answer these. Start answering them maybe tonight, and I'm back at work tomorrow. First day back at work for a month after the little one was born, so it's going to be. I'll try and maybe get it posted tomorrow, guys. But yes, post your questions, guys. I want them. And yeah, lots to talk about in that race, really, isn't it? But let's have a look again at the championship standings. We'll put that alongside here, so we have the results and then the championship standings here, so that you guys can see. What has that done to Haas and everything? So I'm just moving you guys over to here, so we can see that Alpine there. Oh wow, Alpine have just jumped up 3 positions in the constructors standings. So let me drag that over here so that you guys can actually see. Alpine have just jumped up to P6 with 33 points in one race. They're 3 points ahead of Haas and they're 5 points ahead of RB. Oh my god. Wow, what a gain. What an absolute gain from Alpine there. Aston Martin have like not scored any points for the last like 10 races and they're still P5. But wow, what a gain. Alpine domination, I know. FIA doing their absolute best to let a Brit win, but the gods say something different. I disagree. I don't think the FIA have done anything to ensure a Brit wins. I think the rules have been applied correctly. Look, sometimes the rub of the green goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. Max Verstappen, he ended up on the right side in the end, of course, of the red flag in the end today. He wasn't in the morning, but it worked out for him in the afternoon, and that's nothing to do with the FIA. That's just sometimes you're in the right place at the right time, sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that's just how it goes. Perez at 8th, that gives you an idea of what an amazing driver his father is. What secrets has he on Red Bull? I don't think it's his dad. It might be Carlos Slim. But yes, so we lost Stroll, Albon, Hulkenberg, Colapinto and Sainz today. Not a good day for Colapinto or Sainz, crashing twice. Of course, Hulkenberg, he ended up not making, obviously getting DQ'd. Black flag for him for getting assistance after he beached the car. So, but 870 votes, and well, 64% of you think it's a 10 out of 10. So let's just end the poll there, guys. What a brilliant race it was. Can you take advantage of the circumstances? Of course you can. Of course you can. No, Rosero, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Everyone is tuned in. I know people move on afterwards. Of course, we're just going to stick around and here to see what people have got to say, of course. What a long day it has been. It's been an unbelievable race. I can't believe it's 20 past 6 here in the... in here. Oh, hang on. Lewis Hamilton. Tyre pressures were adjusted with wheels already fitted to the car. Apparently, Lewis Hamilton might be demoted from P10 because of a tyre pressure infringement. Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, wow. Max is the best. Nobody can 17th to first win. I mean, it was a great drive from him. Great drive. Hamilton could have performed better. Yes. Yeah, he could have performed better. I think primarily, Hamilton is just wanting to see the end of this year. I think he just wants to, for this year and this season to end. He knows that car isn't good enough to win any races. And, I mean, maybe it was good enough to win with George Russell today. If he was on the right end of a red flag, I think he definitely had some good pace. It was just so tough to overtake here today, unless you were Max Verstappen at the start of the race. But yeah, lots of drivers came unstuck. And even when Max caught up, obviously, to Charles, even he came a bit unstuck as well. But that's where you then have to think on your feet as a team. And you have to try and figure out, okay, can we get some clean air? What do we do here in regards to strategy? There's more to just overtaking out on circuit to get yourself a race win. Of course, Red Bull, in the qualifying, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. They sent their drivers out too late, and that's why Max and Perez were on the wrong end of that red flag. This time around, they kept Max out there, and he was on the right end of the red flag. George Russell was fuming, said he should have stayed out. He didn't want to come in. Lando Norris not happy as well. So these are decisions that sometimes go for you and they go against you. And also credit to Red Bull as well for making those decisions. Wish Lewis did better. Always good seeing the two goats show their skills like at Silverstone. Yeah. Why would Mercedes do that to Lewis then? I don't know. They've just made a crap car for him, haven't they? Really? It's just a car that he's got no confidence in and no driving. I think George, he's just happy to I think he's just like admitting he's being a test driver now. I mean, you look at him, he's almost like he's not upset when he heads into qualifying, or he comes out of qualifying and he's had a poor qualifying again. He's like, yeah, it's just another poor qualifying, isn't it? Like, he's just like, even got a smile on his face, like he's just accepting of it. And I guess he's got 2 wins this year. He's not in a chance of a title fight. He's 7th in the standings. Interestingly, that's put George Russell, as you can see there, 2 points ahead of Hamilton in the championship standings. So Russell has now got ahead of Hamilton in the standings. So, oh, that's now gone. We'll leave that there. I'll make myself a bit larger so that you can guys see my beautiful face. Do that. Oh, I'm getting hungry as well. Looking forward to a nice spag bowl. Norris was never in the fight. I disagree. I think he was in the fight, but yeah, look, obviously, if you look back at his season, he just hasn't done enough. There's been a number of times where he should have won the race, and what minimum finish ahead of Max Verstappen, and he hasn't done. So yeah, crazy. Curious what the penalty to Norris will be. Yeah, I am as well. I'm not sure if they will give one. So the reason why they're investigating it after the session, guys, or after the race, is because there is no guideline or nothing in the regulations for this. This is so that's why they are obviously waiting to. That's why they're waiting to see or discuss with the teams. Maybe they might say. I think what they might do is they might give everyone a slap on the wrist, say they've done wrong, and then clarify it in the regulations moving forward. So, what a race. Yeah, chances of Ferrari win the Constructors. I still think they can do it. Yes, I do. Carlos, I said this before. I said this start of the week. The Constructors' Championship will not come down to Lando Norris, and it won't come down to how well Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc do, but it will come down to how well Oscar Piastri and Carlos Sainz do. And well, Sainz was out of the race today. Piastri still finished behind Yuki Tsunoda with a 10-second time penalty. Wasn't at the races, so they're quite fortunate for Sainz was as far down as he was and didn't finish this race. So yeah, they definitely can. I think the Constructors is going to go to the end of the season because it all depends on Piastri and Carlos Sainz, really. Because we know Leclerc and Lando are going to be up there, always there or thereabouts. But it depends on how high up Sainz and Piastri will finish. So, I had a hiccup on my mic, did I? That was a fake hiccup, by the way, guys. I said this before, but the best team will win the Driver Championship, but Max just rescued Red Bull. Hey, Justin, good to see you, mate. Another 1K subs during a single race. I'm telling you, this guy is the best caster. Thank you, Justin. Not quite. 1,000 since yesterday, I think. But I'm not complaining. What did we have? 32k subs yesterday, and we've now got 33-1. So, yeah, great gains. Thank you, guys. Chances of Red Bull taking second? There's a possibility. I mean, there is definitely a possibility. I reckon Red Bull probably won't want that because they get more wind tunnel time. If Max can win the World Drivers' Championship, which he has done now, pretty much, because Lando needs over 20 points per remaining race weekend. I think they'll want third place because that secures them more wind tunnel time. Of course, they lose money in the championship standings, but I've said this before, bit of a theory of mine. It's just a theory, so it's not confirmed, of course. But I reckon Carlos Slim has put money towards Red Bull and offset the costs or the money that they would lose by finishing first. So whatever the difference in prize money is from first to third, wouldn't surprise me if Carlos Slim has gone, I'll make up that difference to keep Sergio Perez in that seat for the remainder of this season. And then they finish third in the Constructors. Max wins the World Drivers' Championship. That's the ideal scenario for them. They get more wind tunnel time. Happy days. Alpine makes boats, not tractors. This proves Max is the GOAT in the rain. He's definitely one of the best. 100%. Yeah, definitely one of the best. Up there with the greats in the rain. Money doesn't matter to Red Bull. I mean, when you're talking 30+ million, it does matter. I mean, let's have a look at what the prize money difference is. So I'm going to have a look. Prize money, Constructors F1. So first place is £106 million. 99 million pounds for second, and third place is 93 million. Oh, so it's not even that much. I mean, obviously you're talking still millions of pounds, but you're talking 13 million there. That's pocket change to Carlos Slim. pocket change. So he will say to Red Bull, I'll give you the 13 mil, and you keep Sergio Perez, and then you get your extra wind tunnel time. Pretty much. That's a good deal. That's a good deal, isn't it, really? Stroll proved himself by crashing in formation lap. I know. I mean, who would you say is your donkey of the day? Who's your donkey of the day, guys? In the chat. There's a few guys, isn't there? There's a few guys who are, I think, warranted of that. Stroll. Yep, Stroll. I get why people are saying Norris, but look, Norris finishing where he did isn't primarily... I mean, yeah, Norris did... It's maybe a bit of a contender, actually, because he had a few issues. He locked up into turn 1, cost himself 2 places on the restart. He lost the position to George Russell again into turn 4 with a mistake into turn 4. So actually, I do actually think Norris is a contender. But Lance Stroll, come on. I think it's unanimous Lance Stroll, isn't it? It's unanimously Lance Stroll. He didn't even start the race. His team have just worked, like, his team have just got their head down, worked their asses off for the last 3 hours to get that car suitable for the race. And he crashes it on the outlap, on the formation lap. I mean, you'd be fuming if you're one of the mechanics. You're like, what the fuck have I done? I know I'm paid to do this job, but why have I just wasted the last 3 hours of my life for? What, the last 3 hours of my life, what have I wasted it for? To see Stroll just crash that car that I've just blood, sweat and tears over the last 3 hours to get that ready for you. And then you do that. You don't even get one racing lap in. It's not even like someone crashed into him. Oh, it's unforgivable. Unforgivable. If Stroll bins an Adrian Newey car before the race, yeah. Hang on. They're asking Lando about the second phase of the race start. Is it tricky in the McLaren? I think it is, to be fair. I think there's a case for that, where the second phase of the race start is tricky for the McLaren. Stroll F-Max in quali and F Lando in the race. What a legend. I discount Colapinto and Ollie, they're just rookies. Yeah, I mean, look, Behrman and Colapinto have never raced in those conditions before. That's probably like the extreme of the extreme that they're going to race in F1. And Behrman had a couple of spins, but still saw it to the end. Colapinto, I mean, he was on his outlap as well. It was a safety car, so maybe he was just pushing a bit too hard to try and catch up to the back of the safety car. That's a bit of a poor error, really, from Colapinto, even as a rookie. So I think some criticism does need to be laid there to him, because it was under safety car conditions. But yeah, not when you've got Lance Stroll. Nico Hulkenberg, of course, he gained assistance from the marshals. I mean, he should have known that was a black flag. That's a disqualification straight away. So it's great going for making my F1 watch long. Thank you, Fons. Norris is not a rain rider. Well, I do think a lot of the blame also has to lay at McLaren. They clearly set up that car wrong. And it was just, you saw with the lap times, they were banking on Norris being out front. But Piastri struggled to overtake. Like, he got stuck behind some cars behind Lawson for ages. Then got a 10-second time penalty for his frustrations. You then got... who is it? You then got, of course, Norris getting stuck behind George Russell, not able to make any headway on him. And they just had no top speed. So much so that they weren't even gaining in the slipstream. Like, that's unforgivable, poor setup choice. So, check Colapinto's crashed, and that turn was a tricky one, and many people went out there. Yeah, I know, I get it, Sin, but still, like, when you're under those conditions, when you're under safety car conditions... To crash under safety car conditions, even no matter what they are, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. But I'm sure obviously he'll learn from it. So, unforgivable, I'd say. Embarrassing, yeah. Thank you, Graham. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. It was a great drive from Max. Yes, cost cap coming into play. The last few races with a lot of crashes to Ferrari, Aston Martin and Williams. Yes, well, Mercedes have already stated that they can't really bring any more parts. They're basically kind of done with the development for this year. I think Russell's running a floor from Miami. Like, they're running old parts. So, yeah, no new more parts, really, for a lot of these teams because of of the cost cap. Now, do McLaren still have room left for some upgrades for the last 3 races? Of course, they've still got the constructors on the cards, so they'll want to back that. So, yeah, we'll see. Wouldn't surprise me if they bring more upgrades. Driver of the day, though, it was overwhelmingly in favour of Max Verstappen, Ray. Ocon was second and Gasly was third, as basically the podium was. Yeah, I think Max Verstappen got like 81% of the vote. And Mercedes look like they'll get a DQ for changing tyre pressures. It seems that way. Is it? Yeah. What is happening with Lewis Hamilton? So if you're unaware, guys, I'll bring this down for you. This is from the FIA. So you can see here that Lewis Hamilton tyre pressures were adjusted with wheels already fitted to the car in alleged breach of Article 30.5A of the Formula 1 sporting regs and contradicting to technical directives. So that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no in F1. So is there anything else in regards to the FIA? That's provisional classification. Overall fastest lap, Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz is also being brought as well for alleged breach, not entirely dangerous driving. I think he reversed. I think he reversed where he did, or he moved the F1 car or something while marshals were around him still when he crashed. So he's being investigated. Nico Hulkenberg, black flag, we know that, receiving physical assistance. George Russell also being investigated for tyre pressures. Oh my God, both Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton, we know. Oscar Piastri, we know he got a causing a collision. 2 penalty points as well. Wow. Ollie Behrman got 2 penalty points. That's a harsh one. When you look back at the Ollie Behrman one, that's a real harsh one. Really, when you look at it back, it's so innocuous. And he spun, and Colapinto didn't even get any damage. So, I'm not saying you need to have damage, but yeah, that's basically it. So, yeah, that was a bit harsh, really, in my opinion, on Ollie Behrman, his move. So, take back the sabotage comment. Is it anything else? Norris? Yeah, someone's saying Norris simply doesn't have a head for the fight. But yeah, unbelievable result for Alpine, guys. Unbelievable result for Alpine. Right. Do you know what? I'm gonna call it a day there, guys. I'm gonna call it a day there. Final thoughts. Max Verstappen has just wrapped up this Drivers' World Championship with one of the best drives in F1 history. There's no denying that. It will be talked about for many a year to come when we always head back to Interlagos, just like Jenson Button's races at Montreal, just like Lewis Hamilton's 2021 races here as well. And then, of course, Alpine jumping up 3 positions in the constructors there from P9 to P6 with just that result alone. Unbelievable drive from Ocon and Pierre Gasly. Ocon's moved up 5 positions there and Gasly's moved up 4 with the points they've just scored. And Lando Norris and McLaren, well, the Constructors' Championship is still on. They have overall extended their lead slightly to 36 points from the Ferrari team. But, of course, what a result for Norris. It could have been oh so different if they timed the red flag differently, but of course Norris made a multitude of mistakes as well out there which cost him positions. So yeah, kind of really McLaren's story this year with Lando Norris and for Lando Norris himself. But of course we still have 3 races remaining, guys. 3 races in Vegas, in the form of Vegas, then Qatar, which is a sprint race weekend, and then ending in Abu Dhabi. So we are back for F1 the end of November. So we now have 3 weeks, I think it is. 3 weeks again. So Vegas is the 21st of November. So yeah, that is basically, I mean, how long is that? That is basically, yeah, 1, 2, I mean, yeah, basically 3 weeks. 1, 2, we've got 3 weeks again. Why have we got another 3-week break? Unbelievable. Hulk got outside assistance. That's why he got black flag. Yes. But guys, big thank you. Of course, I'll keep the F1 content coming. There's still a lot to discuss. I want your questions, of course, in the community page that I posted. I will do a Q&A video. I'll try and get some of those answered tonight and then tomorrow when I return from work. So the video will most likely be up tomorrow evening. And of course, well, no doubts, there's still a few things going on up and down this grid. We still don't know if Liam Lawson will be in F1 next season or Colapinto. Is Carlos Sainz going to be at Williams or Red Bull? Will Perez be there? Who the heck knows? Who's going to take that last Sauber seat? Still lots to happen here. And who's going to win this Constructors? Because Sainz definitely isn't helping, and Piastri isn't helping much either. So, yes, it's definitely going to come down to who is best assisting, really, in the form of Piastri and Sainz, more so than Leclerc and Norris, who we know will be up there in most races. But yes, guys, big thank you for tuning in today. We hit, what do we hit? We hit 11,000... We hit 11,684. We nearly hit 12,000 viewers today. Nearly hit 12,000 peak viewership. So big thank you. The average viewership was considerably higher. I just want to say a big thank you to you all. Of course, there's still 1,000 of you here in stream as well. Hit that like button and subscribe one last time. And we will see you for the Q&A video, and I'll probably fit some sim racing live streams in as well. So yeah, thanks guys. What a race weekend. A long race weekend, but it's finally over. Max Verstappen is your race winner, starting from 17th with a 5-place grid penalty, and has most likely wrapped up his 4th consecutive World Drivers' Championship. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye!